back here. The Emmys were last night. 75th Emmys, by the way.
Yes.
At the Peacock Theater in Los Angeles. We have some clips to play with this. The ceremony was hosted by Anthony Anderson. And we actually have a clip of him. Are they over?
They're on their way.
They're on their way.
Well, while they're coming, I can tell you this, Preston.
Hold on 1 second. Marissa never got them from you,
I did
Steve.
send them. Oh, okay. All right.
So if you wouldn't mind sending those over,
again.
that would be great. I'll give a little rundown of a couple of things while you're busy doing that. So in lieu of playoff music, the Blackish actor's mother, Doris Bowman, apparently played the role of enforcer and would nudge winners to wrap up their acceptance speeches.
It was great, and she actually stuck to it, and she did it for a part of the show, and then she relaxed on that later on. But she was really good. She was sitting about 3 rows back, and she had kind of a watch and a sign that she would hold up.
Right.
And it's just, and as Anthony said, in the whole thing, he said, "This is protection because you're not going to diss my mother in front of me."
Falling in line with the Golden Globe Awards and Critics' Choice Awards, Succession and The Bear were the big winners of the evening with 6 awards each, including Outstanding Drama Series and Outstanding Comedy Series, respectively. And Beef had followed close behind. They had 5 wins. So I'll give you the rundown, then we'll do the clips in a little bit. I'll give you the rundown of some of the winners. Outstanding Drama Series went to Succession. Outstanding Comedy Series went to The Bear. Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series went to Sarah Snook from Succession. Lead Actor in a Drama Series went to Kieran Culkin. So he picked up the Golden Globe and now the Emmy for that as well.
And the Critics' Choice.
And Critics' Choice. Did he win Critics' Choice?
Yeah, I'm pretty, yeah, because we have audio of him accepting his Best Actor award.
From the Critics' Choice?
Yeah, we played it yesterday.
Oh,
Here, yeah.
I thought that was from Golden Globes.
No, this is Critics' Choice.
Okay, hang on.
He did both, but...
I'm a little bit thrown, actually. I had some stuff I prepared to say, but...
Oh, yeah, the ear hair.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember that clip. Okay, so now he's got 3, obviously, and also winning for Best Limited Anthology Series. That went to Beef. Lead Actress in a Limited Series went to Ali Wong for Beef. Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series went to Stephen Ewan for Beef.
By the way, a quick thing. She's when she won last night, Ali Wong, she kissed Bill Hader, who was sitting next to her. I guess they're an item.
Oh, they
she's
kissed at the
now.
Golden Globes too.
I missed that. Must have missed that.
Yeah, and they're they've been together for a little while, and then they confirmed it at the Golden Globes with public Steve.
Yeah,
canoodling.
Canoodling.
Directing for Drama Series went to Succession. Writing for a Limited Series went to Beef. Writing for a Drama Series went to Succession. Outstanding Supporting Actor Limited Series went to Paul Walter Hauser for Blackbird. Let me see what else we have here. There's a bunch of them. Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series went to Jennifer Coolidge. Supporting Actor in a Drama Series went to Matthew McFadden, who plays Tom on Succession.
He's good.
So a lot of the same group. Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series went to Ayo Adibri.
Yes.
And she had a nice speech as well. Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series went to Keaton Brunson. For Brunson, for Abbott Elementary. Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series went to Matthew McFadden. Oh, I already said that. But Outstanding Actor in a Comedy Series went to Eben Moss Backrack, who plays Richie on The Bear.
Who's great.
I'm glad he won an award.
He's the Paulie of the show.
Totally.
And he's terrific. And actually, there was a great moment where Eben Moss Backrack, I guess, and Maddie Matheson kissed each other, open mouth on stage. It was a funny moment. Did you catch any of it?
No.
Because my takeaway was I found myself watching it and smiling and enjoying it. I thought that Anthony Edwards did a great job.
Anthony Anderson?
Oh, isn't it? Okay, yeah. Yeah, for Christ's sake.
Anthony Edwards is Revenge of the Nerds,
right, yeah.
which is a good movie.
Yeah.
And a basketball player for the Timberwolves.
He's a basketball player for the Timberwolves. But the thing is that there was a good celebration of television. So they were doing tributes to all these shows. They reunited all these casts. And it was fun to see them all together.
All right, so here's some of the clips. Anthony played In the Air Tonight with Travis Barker. So here's a clip of that.
You know, it's crazy to think that Philip Michael Thomas coined the phrase EGOT. But damn it, he ain't got one. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, Lord.
You do have an EGOT story in there, right?
I'm sorry?
You have an EGOT story, do you not? Okay, somebody won an EGOT last night. They
really?
They got their E of the EGOT last night.
I don't know who that was. Wow.
Elton John.
Really?
Yeah. I just saw that. I don't know what he won for.
For his the concert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
special.
good for him.
yeah, I saw a picture. He looks really, really good. Did you guys know he goes to the gym every single day? He's got a pet rabbit that he brings to the gym with him. It's a little fit bunny. It's a little fit bunny. Thank you. Been sitting on that for about 3 weeks.
Could have let it hang.
No.
It was a big.
There are 2 people in the room enjoying this.
It was a big build.
I'm enjoying that you went all in on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
if I
what
didn't
love.
sing
the
it,
actual joke itself is okay, but I just
I enjoyed the singing part of it and the setup.
It was so fast though, because you were so excited.
I was.
Steve hated it.
No. I'm agnostic on it right now.
Steve is okay. It's all right. You
I'm
can hate
fine.
it.
I'm not going to jump in for this, but it's all good. It's all good.
I'm not going to jump in for this one.
All right, I'm going to play some of the clips here. We're going to go to Kieran Culkin, and this is from the Emmys. We were starting to play one from the People's Choice, but this is his win from the Emmys. Here we go.
I have to thank my mom for giving me life and my childhood, which was great. So thank you for that. And of course, my beautiful wife, Jazz. Thank you for sharing your life with me and for giving me 2 amazing kids. And Jazz, I want more. You said maybe if I win. I love you so much. Thank you.
The thing is, there he says for 2 amazing kids, they currently have 4. No, I'm kidding.
So that's interesting that he got choked up at the Emmys, but not at the other award ceremony. So, all right, here is Nicey Nash. She had a fun speech. She had
She went for Dahmer, right?
for Dahmer. That's
Yeah.
correct. Outstanding supporting actress in a limited series, and here is her acceptance.
I'm a winner, baby. Thank you. And you know who I want to thank? I want to thank me for believing in me and doing what they said I could not do. And I want to say to myself in front of all you beautiful people, go on, girl, with your bad self. You did that.
She, Reno 911 and all, mostly known for comedy. And then she reinvented herself and did a couple of drama shows where she was getting some accolades. And here she is, winning the Emmy for a dramatic performance. It's amazing.
Let's move on to, let's go to Jennifer Coolidge, Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series for White Lotus. Here we go.
Mike White, giving me this opportunity to play this incredible character, and he says I'm definitely dead, so I'm going along with it. And I want to thank all the evil gays. I just really, Paulo, Francesco, and Bruno, thank you.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's really funny.
That's from the show, definitely.
It's terrific. And if you hear at the end there, that's Anthony's mom keeping track of her
get
time.
out.
Yeah, if you hear at the end of the clip, she goes, okay, baby.
Then Christine Applegate had presented an award. She took the stage to present for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series, and she got a standing ovation when she got up there.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. You're totally shaming me with disability by standing up. It's fine. Okay.
She's battling MS.
Some of you may know me as Kelly Bundy from Married with Children. Thank you. We don't have to applaud every time I do something. Or Samantha from Samantha Who, or probably maybe my last job from Jen Harding from Dead to Me. But very few of you probably know me from that debut. I'm gonna cry more than I've been crying. Baby Bert Grizzle on Days of Our Lives. It was really a breakout role.
She came out with a cane, and she looked great. She had somebody there standing to help her, a little bit of support. But she was really dialed in and good, and the crowd loved her. That went on much longer. The standing O she got was pretty amazing.
All right, and then Pedro Pascal returned a little barb that he received from Kieran Culkin. at the Golden Globes because Kieran had poked some fun saying, suck it, Pedro, when he won the award.
Right.
And this was a little return to that.
Before we get into the nominees for Best Supporting
His arm was in a sling, by the way.
Actor in a Drama Series, I'd like to take just a second and make this about me. A lot of people have been asking about my arm. It's actually my shoulder. And I think tonight is a perfect time to tell everyone that Kieran Cole.
He said that he beat the S out of him.
And they cut to...
Here are the nominees for Supporting Actor in a Drama Series.
They cut to Kieran, and he's in the audience, just gazing, and then he breaks up laughing.
I love it. All right, and then we have a clip of. Do we have the Always Sunny clip? Yeah.
Yep.
So this is them. They were presenting.
Yeah, they were presenting. They came out with the whole cast with Danny DeVito, and they had some observations about their relationship with the Emmy Awards.
What an honor it is to be here at the 75th Emmy Awards.
Yes, it truly. Wait, what?
Yes.
What? 75 years?
Yeah.
The show's been on for 75. We've been on the air since 2005. I've never even been here.
Yeah, hang on. Have you guys been doing this every single year without us?
Without us?
Yeah. They do. They get dressed up. They give each other awards. Yeah. And 16 seasons, we've never presented before.
No. I feel like we're getting the full Martin treatment over here.
Yeah.
Sort of, except they built them a set. Where's Patty's Pub?
Yeah, we should have a set, and they gave us the same bit. Well, Danny, I mean, surely the Emmys must have given you an award.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah.
They did?
Yeah, I got one.
For Sonny?
No, for Taxi.
Okay, settle down.
How long was Taxi on the air?
5 years.
Only 5 years, and I got nominated.
Yeah, we had 34 nominations and 18 wins. That's why I got one. Thank you very much.
Okay, 34 nominations in 5 years versus 0 nominations in 16 years? That math is bad. The math's bad.
Yeah, I get the Rhea won 4.
Okay.
For Cheers.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they got some trophies backstage that they just forgot to give us. It could have been a mix-up.
No, I won some last week. We got 5 for Welcome to Wrexham. And I went, thank you. And I went backstage and I looked for the Martin ones and I looked for the Sunny ones and they didn't have them.
Nothing, huh?
No.
Shoot. All right, I'm still going to poke around back.
Yeah, I'll rifle around back there.
Yeah, I'll probably find something back there to grab. So speaking of guys with far too many nominations, here are the nominees for Outstanding Talk Series.
By the way, Rob was watching the Eagles game in the crowd last night on his phone.
Oh, my God.
Says they obviously were
True fan.
obligated to be there and had to do it. So there you go. Those are the Emmy Awards, and they are now in the book. So congratulations, all the winners.
By the way, you know who came out last night? Joan Collins. Came out. Yeah, and it looked pretty good. But I mean, so again, this is all the whole. If you get a chance, it's actually a pretty good tribute to television.
Joan's got to be in her 90s.
She's got to be.
Well, I would think
Might have
so.
had some work done.
Maybe. All right, a couple other quick stories because that took up a lot of time. It's already 7 o'clock. But I do want to mention this. Hulk Hogan sprang into action on Sunday night when he stepped in to help a teen girl involved in a multi-car crash in Florida. Hulk, who is 70 now, assisted the teenager who had flipped in Clearwater, by the way. We're headed there shortly. And Hogan's rep, Linda Bowes, said via email, "It's typical for Hulk. He has a big heart. He helps and treats people with the highest respect." The wrestling legend and friend he was driving with helped the teenager get out of her car. It says here by popping the airbags with tools that Hogan had on hand.
Don't they?
They don't stay inflated.
No, they don't. They don't. They're not like balloons. That stay once they're inflated, they stay inflated.
He was also with his wife Sky Daly at the time. They got married last September, so he jumped in to help.
Good job,
save
Hulk.
The day.
You're my man, Hulk. I love you.
Star.
I can see you from heaven.
Let me see. Oh, I thought this was kind of interesting to pass along to you guys. E! News reports that Lindsay Lohan is not happy with a joke that appears in the Mean Girls musical remake. At one point in the new movie, Megan Thee Stallion, her character says, "We are going back red. Y2K Firecrotch is back."
Oh.
Of course, in 2006, a guy named Brandon Davis called Lindsay Firecrotch while out in Los Angeles with Paris Hilton. And Lindsay, according to her rep, said she was very hurt and disappointed by the reference in the film.
That's pretty wild because Tina Fey wrote this musical as well, and they're friendly, and that made that through.
Yeah, maybe they thought she thought it would be funny.
I'm going to kill you.
You know, something like that. But apparently she was not amused by that. So the iconic gray pinstriped suit from Nicole Kidman's highly memed AMC commercial is going up for auction at Sotheby's Visions of America series.
I want it so badly.
Do you?
I don't get whether this is a big... I mean, she wore it in this commercial. I mean, I guess because there was a lot made over the commercial?
So I guess so. Reading this article, Steve, it says that it was a highly memed... promo that she did. So before you would watch the movie, it would roll up on the screen just to say how great it is to go out to the movies. And it's nicely done, I thought.
Nicely done. I just don't, I'm trying to figure out the impact. I guess maybe the meme thing carries some weight.
Yeah, I don't know. The gray wool and cashmere crystal pinstripe jumpsuit from Michael Kors' 40th anniversary fall-winter 21 collection is currently going for $5,000 to $10,000. The enigmatic pre-film advertisement has made a splash online since it first was released in 2021, with fans treating Kidman's now infamous movie-loving monologue like scripture. The ad has inspired endless memes, apparently, and even an exclusive backpack fashioned in the style of Kidman's gray suit by AMC.
I mean, it's fine, I guess. The Regal has a pre-roll, Steve, that I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I hate it so much. It's just people delivering very, very famous movie lines over and over again, and some of them are just completely out of context.
I haven't seen that one. No.
Yeah.
The Nicole Kidman one I've seen a lot.
So the Visions of America auction series was curated in the partnership with designer Tom Brown, and according to Sotheby's website, it'll feature a diverse array of superlative fine art, furniture, fashion, decorative arts, folk art, historic maps, books, whiskey, manuscripts, and more.
In the commercial, though, she goes into this theater. She's the only one in there.
She is.
So, it doesn't look like a robust return to the movies.
They parodied it on SNL and a bunch of other places, so I guess that's maybe where it got some of the cachet for this auction.
I want what Hulk Hogan was wearing when he rescued that teenage girl. I'd pay top dollar for that.
All right, we'll just do one more story, and then we will wrap it up. Let's go with this one. This is a sweet one. Tom Holland shared a little detail about his relationship with Zendaya during the 29th Annual Critics' Choice Awards on Sunday. He was talking to Extra and said that he and Zendaya rewatched Spider-Man together to reminisce about when they first met one another. He said, Zendaya and I will, every now and then, watch Spider-Man 1 and reminisce about being 19 and making those movies again. He said, I love those movies, and I love savoring those moments. So I try not to watch them as often as I would maybe like to because it's so special. It's such a luxury, such a gift to be able to sit down and sort of relive your youth.
I watched Bloodsport with Claire to remember how we first met.
Oh,
yeah.
Isn't that sweet?
In the next, I'm sorry, Preston, in the next Spider-Man movie, he's not going to have any of his fancy suits that Tony Stark made for him. He's basically stripped down to a poor Peter Parker.
I'm going to hate it.
Back to the beginning?
Yeah. He's going to be like fighting street crime.
Okay.
You know what, though? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say with like Iron Man 3, he was like Iron Man that he got out of the hardware
at Home
store.
Depot.
Right.
Yeah.
I did love, though, in the beginning of the Netflix Daredevil run, his sort of makeshift quasi-ninja outfit.
Yeah.
Before he got his full Daredevil costume. It was still pretty cool.
All right, we're going to roll some clips now. The puck has dropped on the Hicks, the Skids, and the hockey players' final season of feuding and ass-kicking. Here, Letterkenny star Tyler Johnson talks about the show staying authentic over the last 12 seasons.
Started as a small-town Canadian comedy, and I believe that was something that our fans come to love, was that they knew they were getting Letterkenny every time they pressed play on our show. We never tried to be any other show but our own. We got to wave the Canadian flag and be our weird Canadian small-town selves, and I think people really came to love the authenticity of it.
Shut up, dummy.
The 12th and final season of Letterkenny is now streaming on Hulu.
That show is memed a lot. A lot of the characters.
Terrific show.
Yeah.
It's really well written. It's very funny. I highly recommend it, and if you're a hockey fan, you definitely have to watch it.
All right, here's our next clip. After an unexpected series of events lands a Scandia, Minnesota housewife in hot water with authorities, she suddenly plunged back into a life she thought she left behind. In this clip, Juno Temple reveals her secrets for nailing the iconic Fargo accent.
Our dialect coach, who is an absolute ninja, Liz, and she worked on the original movie and has done each installment of Fargo. She's really good at the accent. And also, Noah's writing, he writes it for a Minnesota accent. Like, the dialogue itself works for the accent. And if you try to do it in English, speaking accent, it doesn't work as well.
She's so good with the accents. Her in Black Mass, Preston?
The Boston accent.
Yeah. I mean, she's really a good
She's
actress.
great. I've not seen her in Fargo, so I'm sure she's wonderful with her, flipping of the accent, but I'll have to see that for myself.
She was at the Emmys last time.
The finale of Fargo Year 5 airs tonight on FX. So if you're a fan, that's it. You got to watch that. All right, there you go. Your entertainment report.
Well
for
done.
today. Thank you very much. A lot to go over and a lot left over. We'll have to get to that tomorrow. So we have Tattoos Day. Text the word tattoo to 39333 if you're interested in winning that Preston and Steve Show themed tattoo from our friends at Floating World Tattoo and Piercing, 1729 South Street in Philadelphia. Hang out for a while because we'll get you in the running for a trip to Clearwater, Florida for spring training. And also, Night Shymalan on the program. Craig Ferguson on the program. A lot to get to. You're going to take a little extra time into work, so we'll be your company. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Piss, vomit, poop, it's all there on the streets of San Fran.
Thank you.
Where they got trolley cars and rice-a-roni.
Thank you, Tony Bennett, for...
poop.
Cable cars and rice-a-roni.
I miss that city.
Chinatown.
Yeah, poop-covered streets, piss everywhere, vagrants wandering around. It's wonderful. It's like Night of the Living Dead with hills.
The wharf is just covered in
Absolutely.
poop. Yeah, it's just beautiful. In case you've ever wondered whether Marilyn Manson was truly as evil as he makes himself out to be, there may be proof now. He said they can't find something illegal about what I say or do in my music. They just disagree with it morally because of their belief systems.
That's nonsense. I'm on the Satanic Church myself. And I'm about cleaning the poop off the streets of San Francisco.
That's right. Look at that.
Get off the guy's back.
You're not such a bad guy.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah, so he said, so they have to...
Just because I believe in the power of the Lord Satan doesn't mean you should think I'm evil.
I mean, after all, you're cleaning up poop.
Remember what the Joker said to Batman? They're both sides of different coins or something like that. I didn't stay really that long. I left once I ran out of snow caps.
He bought the ticket, though.
He bought the jumbo box,
Yeah, it was
too.
there.
I go through them a lot. I love those things.
This is so weird. Just thinking about that. What would lead Tony Bennett to
I'm
comment
in the Church of Satan, too.
Marilyn Man? And poop and snow caps and Batman and the Joker.
Makes sense.
He's currently on tour with Rob Zombie with the Trek wrapping
I'm
up
also a Nazi.
this week. I want to see what you think of this, Kathy. Kim Kardashian, Chrissy Teigen, Queer Eye's Tan France, and trans model Andreja Pajic are sporting some eye-catching new accessories. It's all in the name of Simon Huck's conceptual art experience called A Human, and it's already roiling social media. So Kim has a glowing necklace, and it looks like it's implanted in her skin.
But Preston, okay, and I wanted to ask you about this. It's clearly not an implant.
Right.
It is a flesh-colored thing made to look like an implant.
And it lights up, Kathy.
That freaks me out.
But you've got to
it gets worse.
Marissa, see if you can find, she's on social media, and there's a comment. She says, It's glowing
lights up
to
like
my
my
heart.
heart.
And just her, and she looks like an android, dude.
To begin with.
I know,
Like
it's
this,
so...
right, Preston?
It's such a shame.
She's got the lips like...
Yes, yeah, full
Let
on,
me see.
full on constructed duck lips, so she doesn't have to make the
She doesn't
pout
have to do duck
anymore. It
lips.
does it automatically.
Close to the beat of my heart.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this. And I'm like, who finds that? It's dysmorphia. We're looking at video. Look at this, Kathy. It lights up, and it looks like it's under your skin.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Kind of wild.
Well, there's a couple of different ones, Preston. So Chrissy Teigen had one. There was a disgusting one that I think it might have been the trans model had, where it looks like almost like mushrooms growing out of their neck.
Oh,
yeah.
This is just somebody who has a lot of money, so is going to pay them to do this. This isn't going to be a fashion trend.
But you can't. You can't
be too expensive.
And
Yeah,
exactly,
no, it's not.
How would you pay to get this put on? It's got to be a fairly
And if
elaborate
it is,
process.
it's going to be so quick.
Well, now I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, guys.
Here's our fashionista.
Well, I mean, for the people who don't have that kind of money to spend on a glow necklace, okay, and that's all that is just a stupid glow necklace. What if it was like some sort of like thing that you could insert glow necklaces into, Kathy? Right?
What do you mean?
Yeah,
So you know what a glow necklace is, obviously,
The
right?
things
Like
you crack?
yeah, the glow bracelets.
Yeah.
What if it was like just a vessel that was like decorative that you could insert the glow
And make it
necklace?
different colors?
Well,
I see what you're saying.
The
Not-
pitch here, though, is that it looks flesh colored. It looks like you have altered your skin.
You're saying not looking like it's implanted.
not like but accessorizing your glow necklace.
Like what Twinkie wore in Buck Rogers.
Here's the audio of her showing it off. Here we go.
My necklace glows like a heartbeat. It moves to the rhythm of my heartbeat.
Oh my God! Shut up!
Oh,
My necklace glows like a heartbeat.
Wait.
It moves to the rhythm of my heartbeat.
Oh my God. My heartbeat. Wait, Steve, what are you putting in your mouth?
Something to puff. Give me something to puff out my lips.
Give him something. Wait, you need here, hold on. I have something.
Do you have cotton or
tiny
something?
flashlight.
Steve was trying to put a flashlight in his mouth. Not a flashlight, a flashlight.
Yeah, we do have those.
Stick a flashlight in your mouth.
Try that case.
What do you have? Yeah, okay.
Close to the rhythm.
Wait, this is too big. What do you think I am, a Watusi warrior here? What'd you give him?
Do you think somebody told her to say that, or is that all on
Well,
her
I'm sure
own?
she's getting paid for
Well,
it.
I know, but like where they like say it's,
Sure.
it's to your heart.
Close to the rhythm.
My necklace glows like a heartbeat. It moves to the rhythm of my heartbeat.
You look like Bill Murray in where the giant plant when he goes to the dentist. Little Shop of Horrors. You look like
Little Shop of It goes to the beat of my heartbeat. It's right under my neck and it glows and it pumps to the heart of my heart. Glow, turn on my heart light.
It moves to the rhythm of my heartbeat.
Oh my God!
Shut up.
Yeah. Well, this person Simon Huck is a conceptual artist, so it's.
I'm a conceptual artist. And I want your neck to glow.
Stop it. Okay. They don't see that outside the bubble.
All right,
the
so
rest of the world is like, what are you doing?
I'm looking at one. Nick pulled this up. It looks like she has feathers growing out of her chest.
Yeah,
Yes.
Steve, this is Chrissy Teigen.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Nick, do you have the other ones as well?
Kind of cool.
This is no.
That's cool.
She only posted one.
I mean, listen. It looks like studio makeup done for a movie.
Yes.
For a horror movie.
Yeah, a horror movie or some sort of
fantasy,
sci-fi
thing.
So why not be like the large singing plant from Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah. So meanwhile,
Seymour?
So Teigen, sported a featherhead breastplate, they called it, while Tan France wore a piece made to look like ruffled skin with bioreactive crystals, and Pajik wore horn-like sculpted shoulders. That's it.
Okay, so the one that looks like mushrooms growing here, if we can get that one, I think it looks kind of really like Casey. You don't like things that look like openings and circles and indentations in a body.
Wouldn't it be awesome for like the socially elite for it to become fashionable to wear like a horn out of your forehead?
But Preston,
wouldn't it?
Like the
you're
Hunger
not
Games?
far.
Yeah.
Preston, the bagel thing.
Yeah.
The
implant.
Japanese were doing the bagel implants on the
But
forehead.
I'd like to see like a rhino horn coming out of their forehead. Oh my God.
Charge.
Rhino. That's so rhino. All right, anyhow, the full exhibit of futuristic clothing-like objects inserted under the skin opens in New York City next week. The entrance fee to even see this stuff is $40 if you want to go check it out.
$40 to see these incredible expressions of self.
Mark, we'd like to put you to work this morning.
Yes.
The greatest host of game shows I've ever met.
Ever.
No
Well, you're
question.
very kind.
And so we need some callers on the line. And we are each here on the show going to play for a caller. You don't have to do anything. You just got to sit back and let the magic unfold and get ready to win some prizes as we play this.
Preston and Steve present Know the Show on WMMR. Kathy can't go to bed at night if there's anything on the floor. And Steve's got a bunch of Cub Scouts buried in the dirt behind his cellar door. Nick's effeminate. Marissa likes getting text messages with naked pictures attached. Casey boy squeezes pus out of his armpits, and Preston likes eating his own scabs.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have not done Know the Show in a long, long time.
Well, we usually refuse to do it unless Mark Summers can host it.
That is correct. And so the way this will work, the format is that Mark will have a statement that he'll say about each one of the members individually. He'll pick out a member and make a statement, and the rest of us try to answer a question that might be answered by that person. And each one of us, if we get it correct, we get a point. If we answer like-mindedly with the person that's being singled out.
A la the Newlywed Game.
A la the new. It's the same thing, actually. Yeah. In fact, this is the Newlywed theme music, I think, that we're playing.
We're ripping off everything we can.
Every bit. And if we'll have point totals, whoever has the most points, that person on the phone line who we are playing for is going to win a prize. If there's a tie, we'll give away a couple of prizes. That's the way it works. Mr. Mark Summers.
Thank you. No rehearsal. Sight reading. Here we go. Radio legend Preston Elliott, or El Scabo, as the people of his native Honduras refer to him, is a man of many talents who enjoys a plethora of hobbies. If Preston were told he must give up one of his cherished hobbies on the spot and never, ever indulge in it again for the rest of his life, which of the following three would he select? Is it golf, drumming, or cooking? You have 15 seconds to write your answers down. All right, time is up. And we're going to start with Casey Boy. Which one would he give up and never be able to do for the rest of his life?
Wow. This one was really tough. You got to eat or you're going to die. I would say you got to listen to music or you're going to die. So I went with golf.
Casey says golf. Steve, your reply is?
No, I had to think about these as well because I know that he adores golf, and though he's had some issues with his shoulder, drumming, the music is everything to him. However, there are other people who can cook for him, and so I say cooking.
Cooking. Two different answers. We move to Kathy.
I was the same as Casey. I said golf because I know that he has back and shoulder issues, and I think that would be the reason because it would hurt, and I don't think that he could give up drumming or cooking.
All right, so we have two golfs, and we have a cooking, and we're moving to Nick.
So I went with, because of the hearing issue, I thought that Preston would choose on a tactical situation to give up drumming for the rest of his life.
Interesting.
Yet another answer, and finally, Marissa.
I went with, I think most of the crowd went with, and I went with golf.
Golf, we have three golfs.
Wow.
Preston, what is the response?
If I were to have to give up one of them for the rest of my life, I'd have to go, I'm going to say, agree with Steve, I'd give up cooking.
Really?
Somebody else can make that food for me. And even though I have shoulder and back problems, I still love the game of golf, and I'll never quit playing.
How's your putts?
It's good. Have a tug.
Yeah, here, grab the shaft and you tell me.
Nice balls.
Got a couple balls? All right, so
and they're moist.
Steve got the lone point on that one.
Who's keeping score?
And who's our person who's won?
Well, it's going to be a total.
After the
it's going to be a total at the end.
All right. Question two. While Preston is known as a man of the people who often spends his spare time dispensing free croutons to the homeless, he is amazingly occasionally uncomfortable while in a one-on-one situation. Which member of the Preston and Steve cast will Preston say he is least at ease with when he sees them away from the show? Oh, my.
Wait, you got to ask that again.
Okay. So, who is the person?
You can leave out the crouton part.
No.
In English.
In English.
Okay.
Preston is least at ease. He's the most uncomfortable with which one of you when you're away from the show? So if you go to a
I'm
party,
one-on-one situations.
Okay, and he knows all you guys for 100 years.
Yep.
If he came face to face at a barbecue, which one would he feel the most uncomfortable with? That is the question.
And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thanks, Kath. So the non-main roads that I was coming in this morning, weren't touched, and fortunately, at 4:30 in the morning, there's no traffic. It's fairly easy to navigate with that, and you don't have to be quite as safe. So got through all that, got on the main roads, the Blue Route and the Schuylkill, and they were the slower speeds, but not crazy. And then I get off at Belmont here in Bella Kenwood, and I get behind a car, and I saw what I did not want to see, which was a Florida license plate.
Oh, boy.
Car in front of me. I'm like, uh-oh. This is a novice. Okay, so on my way here, when you get off at Belmont, you go down a little bit, and then it's a steep incline that you have to go up this hill.
Yeah.
Before eventually coming back down another hill. And as we all know, in the snow, if you're going to go up a hill, you need to get momentum before you get on that hill.
Yep.
And I knew this person in front of me from Florida was not going to know what to do. So as we're starting to approach the incline, they start slowing down.
No.
And I'm like, no, this is not going to work. And so as they're slowing down, they then put their flashers on, and that's a signal to me to go,
good.
I'm going around.
Bye.
Yeah.
Screw this, or else we're not going to make it up the hill.
Bye, sucker.
Yeah, so I went around them. It was 4:30, 4:40. No traffic otherwise, and sure enough, yes, I made it up the hill. I had gotten enough momentum because if you do not, and this is what I was trying to teach Caroline the other day, a new driver, 16 years old, and when it snowed last week, I'm like, let's go for a drive.
Yeah.
And I was like, I made that point. I'm like, if you see a hill that you're going to have to get up, you've got to get up speed before you get to that hill.
Well,
you're not going to make it.
Good on Florida person for putting on their hazards and indicating they were going to take it slow.
Yeah,
I mean,
at least
that
they
was
did that.
courteous,
Yes.
and that way you could run them off the road.
Yeah, so.
You know what I had? There's a guy in front of me, a plow guy, salting guy, coming down Lincoln. Those guys are out working, throughout the whole thing. And this guy could not have been nicer. I was behind him, and I was staying back, but he knew I was going much slower than I normally would be. First opportunity, pulls over.
Oh, but that's cool.
And lets me go past him. I was like, oh, man, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
You didn't get the.
I didn't get the
showered with the
paint strip off the
pellets.
side.
Yeah. I've had that happen before.
Oh, my God. It's like
where they're going too slow, and you're like, I can get around this guy, but you got to go. Your car gets all just, shot with that. It's almost like it's coming out of a 12 gauge at you. But nonetheless, trials and tribulations of dealing with some snow in the area. Besides all that, there's a story I want to hear from one of the cast members here on the program. Kathy was darn near death yesterday.
Exploded into flames.
Almost died.
Was this yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Okay, what happened?
I think I was electrocuted.
Okay.
Electrocuted.
What
Yeah.
leads you to believe you were electrocuted?
Okay, so it was, when you touch a light switch, a door handle or something, you get a little shock.
Yes.
Right? So there was some work being done at my house and some electrical work. And so the panels were off of the light switches. Okay, so there was a lot of wires and metal shown. And I just, turned the light switch. But I guess maybe I touched the metal along with it, whatever.
Oh.
It was that shock, but beyond that. I yelled, I ripped my hand away. It felt like when you normally touch a door handle and there's, some static in the air or whatever it is, but it was times 100. So I think I was electrocuted.
If you're going to do stuff like that, the thing to do is you get a little tub of water, stand in it,
and then
yeah,
turn.
that'll help ground it.
Right.
She had mentioned this last night, and we didn't hear the full story because a lot of times we'll say, well, hold on, tell us when we get on the air. And so I remember, I think it's been 3 times in my life where I've had a fairly significant, it went beyond shock, Kathy, I thought.
Yeah,
so
same.
One time I was, I was at an ice rink and I was wearing ice skates. And I don't know if that had anything to do with anything, but they had an arcade.
Right.
And there were 2 pinball machines next to each other. And I was able to put my hand on both of them at the same time.
All right.
And all of a sudden it was like, it wasn't like shock, bang, like that. Right. But it was like a buzzing, almost like I was frozen. Like I was like, and and then
Did you feel
like it was a sustained amount of time?
You said you're frozen. When I've had it happen,
Scared the hell out of me.
literally felt cold to me, like I had an immediate cold, like, and then locked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was locked in place. I don't remember cold, but I just remember that scaring. And it happened. And another time it happened with two vending machines that were next to each other. Somehow or another, there was a ground issue, or I don't know what, man.
Right.
But it happened a couple of times. Just
Scary as hell.
Yeah. Oh
Well,
my
I had
God,
to rip,
yes.
like I didn't keep my hand there, so I didn't experience it like that. But I mean, it was a shock that I had to rip my hand away, and I didn't feel good for about 5 hours afterwards. Like from when it happened.
Did you feel nauseous?
I got very nauseous, and I had no, I got very nauseous, and I had a terrible headache, and it lasted like about between the 4 and 5 hours later is when it started to wear off.
So
But
do you remember you had mentioned the arcade? Do you remember Excite Bike?
No.
You don't remember that
The
game?
video game?
Excite Bike, yeah, the video game. They had handlebars. It wasn't an immersible like where you sat
I
in
know
it.
what you're
The
talking
stand-up
about.
game?
Yeah.
It was a stand-up game,
Like
but it did
Paperboy,
have
or-
kind of like Paperboy.
Okay.
But it, actually, maybe it was Paper. Yeah, no, it was
I remember.
Excite-
And you
yeah.
would pull back on it and could pop wheelies. Yeah, I remember that.
I played it one time because I got shocked because there was so the handles were rubber,
right?
But that went around the metal, and my hand hit the metal, which should be fine.
Yes,
but no, it shocked the absolute hell out of me, and I have never played it since.
Was it
so shocked?
Was it a quick shock, or was it like me, like that sustained?
Probably a little bit of both.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny that you guys are mentioning video games, pinball games. For me, Casey, it was the pool, and there was a little arcade at the pool, and you're standing in water. You know,
Who thought that
all
up?
the kids are running in. It's Steve. It was the Great Valley Club, and it was a great pool. We were there every day in the summer, and Preston, we're standing there and playing Pac-Man. And when you move the joystick on Pac-Man, there is the little metal portion of the joystick that goes into the arcade machine. At that base of the arcade machine, at the base of the joystick, there's metal that's exposed. So every time you're shifting it around, you're touching with the palm or
Where
the
was
base
this?
of your hand at a pool club.
Yeah. And they had the arcade was right there.
Yeah, so you're walking in out of the pool, tracking water into this place where you're playing a video game plugged into the wall.
Yeah.
And Kathy, like when you get shocked like that, I don't know about you guys, but like I like feel it in my toes. Like it goes all the way through my arms,
Oh, it
down to my
went-
fingers, down to my toes. It's crazy.
Yeah, it definitely went through my body, but I was just shocked at how terrible it made me feel afterwards.
I wonder if that is a common reaction because whenever I've been electrocuted, quote unquote, not like other people have, I don't get ill. I'm just in that moment. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Yeah.
I never had lingering symptoms from the electrocution.
Yeah.
We had
It
a
was
little
weird.
corner store near us called Rita's growing up, and that's where we got all of our penny candy and stuff. But out front of Rita's was a giant sign, and in front of the sign was a phone booth. And if you made the mistake of touching the sign and the phone booth at the same time, you would get an electric shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was hilarious because it wasn't so bad that we couldn't do it. And then we actually would try to see how many people we could chain together.
and feel it. Oh my God!
You can do the defibrillator thing on someone.
Yeah.
What's the story with the two different
Yeah, the machines.
apparatuses?
Yeah.
Are you
and
you
touching
completing
them?
the circuit? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I don't know squat about electricity and how it works as far as conducting goes.
You know, it blows my mind, Preston, when you have my electrician, Michael, great guy, comes over to do work on the house. You see them like, they lick their fingers and, yes, oh yeah, this one is active.
Yeah, I knew a guy who would do that too. He would do it with the back of his hand.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't close and grab on.
Let me put my penis on this and see if it's
live.
active.
Yeah. Let me go to, I have a couple of different welders that are on the line with stories. So I'll go to Brian first. Hi, Brian. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Steve, let me get a yoo-hoo.
You got it. What's up, Brian?
So I was at this job, and we were welding strips of metal to this pipe to hold the pipes together. And my boss, he was actually the one welding, and I had these gloves on. Well, holding this metal, it was just shocking me, man. I was like the guy from Home Alone, just getting absolutely lit up. And my boss, my boss being the boss, he's like, "You're not getting shocked. Just hold that thing to the pole." So I'm doing
What? He tells you you're not being shocked.
Yeah, he told me I'm not being shocked, and I probably got shocked like 3 times.
Oh my
Dude. No, you should have said, I beg to differ. Why don't you hold this?
Yeah, here, you hold this, douchebag.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that was enough shock. You don't need coffee no more, man. You're awake.
Yeah, right? For a week.
It is such a,
thanks, Brian.
you're exactly right. It is such a, the second it happens, listen, since we're not electricians or welders or whatever, we don't experience that. So you know it the second it happens. Kathy, you had to know immediately you were being electrocuted, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, it was. I mean, I yelled. It shot through my body. It went, through my hand, my arm. I felt it in my body, and yeah, I yelled.
This was just a light switch?
Yeah.
I've had that happen.
And listen,
I've
I
had
don't-
that absolutely.
I didn't even. I don't know if that. My guess is that has to have something to do with it. That it was all exposed and the metal was exposed, and
That's why I stay away. I'll do some home repair stuff, but anything, I don't care how benign or easy it is. I'm calling a goddamn electrician.
Apparently, my dad, when I was a pre-K, my dad let this happen. Apparently, I was fiddling around with like an open light socket or something like that. And he told me not to.
Yeah.
But I did anyway. And like by the third time, he's like, I'm just going to watch this. And I got shocked. Probably not a good idea, Dad. I understand. Maybe, learning, but I could have died from that.
That hand grenade is active, but go ahead.
I'm going to go to Eric next. Hi, Eric. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Good. What's up, my man?
So I used to work in D.C. I'm also another welder.
Okay.
And I was doing this job. We were renovating a hotel into apartments or townhouses, whatever, condos.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so we're underneath the building, and we had to make sure that the columns were strong enough to be able to hold the building while we knocked half the column out and lowered the ground.
Okay.
So we're putting up these steel beams up, and to hold essentially the whole entire building up. And one of my buddies was over on one side of the column, and I was on the other, and I'm lifting myself up between the two beams as he starts to weld. Well, that grounded both beams. And so he's sitting there welding as I'm getting electrocuted.
Oh, man.
I mean, like continuous electrocution,
I think he worked for our last caller. I think that's the same guy. God.
And so I'm sitting there getting shocked or whatever. And my other buddy ended up having to drop kick me off of the beam so I would stop getting electrocuted.
How long? It must have seemed like an eternity, but how long were you being electrocuted?
I want to say like 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's enough.
That was. And so I had a tick for the rest of the day.
So it must have looked like you were dancing for the guy.
Thanks, Eric.
It's terrifying. Man.
A lot of these are, industrial accidents that can happen. I'm going to go to Johnny because he was working in a sheet metal shop. Hi, Johnny. Morning, buddy.
Good morning to see you. Thanks for bothering me while I'm driving to work.
Good morning, it. We're happy to do it. What's up, bud?
Well, I was working at a sheet metal shop in 1985, close to where I was living, and working on a punch press. And every once in a while, the turret would get stuck, so you would have to shut the power off, get underneath, put a bar into the rotator, and manually move it. So I'm doing that. I told the guy next to me, go ahead and hit the switch. He walks over as my hand is holding a power line and a metal rod. He walks over and turns the power on.
Oh, my God.
So needless to say, it threw me 40 feet across the floor into a wall. My heart stopped twice. They had to put the defibrillator on with the EMTs. So the only damage that I have is if I hold my right arm down, the vein pops out. If I put my right arm up, the vein sinks back in.
The only damage other than you died twice.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So did you hear a sound when you got launched? Did you hear anything?
Bang.
Nope, nothing. Just all of a sudden it was just, I woke up, I looked, and I'm like, where am I? And they said, oh, you're in the hospital. Why am I here? I did not remember anything.
No kidding.
How long did the boner last?
About 3 hours, the nurse came in and gave me a sponge bath.
Isn't it crazy that after you get shocked like that, they have to use electricity to start your heart again?
Yeah. It seems like rubbing salt on the wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Johnny,
wild.
did that mess with you at all as far as like your, being around electrical things?
No, never bothered me.
Okay.
When you fart, do your ears drool?
Nah, not really.
Okay. Yeah, because there's, I mean, think about that. I mean, that's like a rewiring of your system to have you launch that way. It's horrifying.
Yeah, it was a little scary, They told me what happened afterwards, and thank God I hit a temporary wall, but they told me that when I hit the wall, that it actually pushed the 2x4 about 3 inches off the bottom board.
Wow.
Yeah.
Concerning like work sites and stuff like that with anything, and you're talking about people who are going sheet metal or whatever, I assume that there has to be things in place to dissipate or to ground, because when you're working on stuff like that, we don't think of it in those terms. Like the guys who do the high tension cables, Preston, the stuff they have to do to make sure things are grounded.
Right.
And it's something that we don't think about. I'm sure that's a necessary part of the job.
I was also wondering, like, how many watts or volts or whatever need to be in the shock in order for you to go from being clamped in to being shot across the room.
In other
Does
words,
that make any sense?
What forces you? What makes you lock as opposed to launching you?
This was wired into a 220 box.
Oh my God!
Straight wired in. It wasn't even a plug that you could unplug.
Are we looking at something a stunt for the studio?
The regular outlet is 110, right? And then the more industrial things are 220, and that's a lot more power, double, obviously. So
yeah.
All right, thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it, man.
All right, have a good. Hey, Casey, how's that ranch dressing with the pizza?
Hey, dude, have you tried it yet?
It's all the rage.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to have another one.
All right,
thanks, Johnny.
I'll go for
Appreciate
it.
I'll tell you.
My knowledge of, and I remember back in science class of learning about electricity, but when it comes to watts and amps and
guitars,
and all of that stuff, I'm totally lost. I don't know where the danger lies and what causes what to happen.
Think about it this way. The game that we play that gives you the mild shock.
I hate it.
Think about it. Right.
That's
Think
the
about
batteries.
that,
That's-
right?
yeah.
It's just little batteries.
Little double
and
A
you
batteries.
Effing hate it.
I was talking to my mom yesterday, Preston, because she had to. She has a plumbing issue, and so we were talking about stuff that you can take care of on your own. And plumbing is out, and anything electric related is out. Where do you feel more helpless, electricity or plumbing issues?
Electricity.
I think me too.
Yeah.
Oh, hands down.
I could try. You get some
try in
Drano.
plumbing.
Plumbing can get messy,
right?
But it's not going to kill you. Right?
I hooked up my bidet. I mean, that was a little bit of plumbing. I was able to do that. Electricity. I don't care how easy people say it is.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care if they, Forrest Gump could do it. I don't care. I'm not going to do it.
Steve, even the plates that go over the
I
lights.
don't- I
the light-
won't-
I'm
no.
telling you, all it is a screw. And I was like, I left them for my dad. I'm like, you need to put all these on.
We have a light fixture literally hanging by its cables in the basement. I won't go anywhere near it.
Let me go to a service electrician. We have Adam who can answer all kinds of questions and tell stories. Adam, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ed. How are you guys?
Good, buddy. Good morning to see you. All right, so you've heard us talking about this. Where do you want to start?
All right. So, contrary to popular belief, electricity takes all paths to the source. It doesn't essentially go to ground. It goes to the source. So with your house being grounded at the service, if you're on something conductive like concrete, tile, it's going to go right through you to the ground if your resistance is low enough. It does not take a lot to kill you. It's about less than 50 milliamps.
Which is compare that to what level of appliance do we use that could?
A water heater is 4,800 watts, and I know we talked about amps and watts, and
Volts.
that's about 18 amps.
Okay.
Volts, yeah. So power over E, which is electricity, or voltage is your watts, or your amperage.
I'm so
a lot of
stupid.
formulas in here, but yeah, water heater is about 4,800 watts. That's 18 amps. That's a lot. That would kill you easily. And The most dangerous voltage is 120 because it's the most common voltage. I mean, you can get hooked on to 277 as a commercial, 480 commercial electric, and that will hold you. It doesn't exactly blow you off, but the problem is it holds you on, and you lose contraction of your muscles. You can't let go. You're on there, and it's usually the fall that will kill you if you fall off of something. So it can get really nasty really quick if you're not careful.
Adam, do you know? Can you give an explanation as to what may have happened to me? Like the plates were off of the wall, and I just hit the switch, but there was electrical work being done in the house.
So you said there's electrical work being done. So sometimes if people down the road or before you alter the wires or something, so you have typically on your 120-volt circuit, you have a hot, which is your black, your white, which is a neutral, and your bare copper, which is actually called a equipment grounding conductor, but it's called the ground. If you take off that white wire anywhere off down the line and you have an open neutral is what it's called, you have voltage on that white wire. It's not supposed to
I
be
swear to God, you might as well be speaking Latin.
No, but you know what? He's making.
No.
You're making sense.
You're okay.
And I guarantee you that is what happened because they were moving outlets, they were moving wires, they were pulling wires down into the basement. So that's probably what happened, Adam.
Yeah, and if you have that neutral undone, and maybe someone along the line tied in that bare copper, which is attached to all the metal, and that's supposed to create a low resistance path to the breaker to trip it, so it's a safety feature. But if that is tied to your neutral somewhere along the line and it's energized, well, everything metal's hot. And if you touch that, you're going to get little zaps.
So, Adam, will the first sign be that your chills are multiplying?
Possibly. I mean, personally, for me, it's I think I heard you guys talking. I'm streaming you on the YouTube. Everyone, I think, is a little different. If I call it blown up. If you get shocked a little bit, it's just a quick tingle. You pull your hand off. But I've never had any kind of weird symptoms like that. But I mean, I've had the worst ones. Your arm will feel like sore because of that pulsating voltage because it's at 60 hertz, so you can kind of feel the pulsating of it. So you can kind of feel it.
Is it similar? You remember these things they used to sell? These dumb things for your ab. You'd wear it and it would conduct electricity through your gut. And it was supposedly contract and release the muscle, and it was like a workout. That's basically what's happening like with Kathy when she touched the light fixture, correct?
Yeah, probably on an extreme sense. I know I've seen some of those things, and the current is just so low, and it's usually DC. So it can be manipulated, and then there's the whole other debacle of the sine wave. You know, you have the AC sine wave, and DC it gets really complicated really quickly. But I think that stuff for medical is very, very low, and they use different frequencies, and that's something I'm a little unfamiliar with. I just do the house stuff, and that's me.
All right. Well,
how many times, Adam, do you think you've been shocked?
I generally try to be safe. When you do it a long time, you kind of know what to touch and what not to touch.
Yeah.
But I was shocked a little bit last week doing some work in the mud in the water, which obviously that's a problem. But
yeah.
But there's been a couple of times when it's kind of jarred me a little bit. But I've been pretty fortunate. Some guys can get really hurt, and I really haven't. So.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Adam. We appreciate it, man.
All right, you guys rock.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate that.
God bless him for doing that work. There's no effing way.
Hang on. Let me go to, I have Joe in the Marines. Hi, Joe. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys today?
Great, man. You have an interesting story to tell.
I have a very interesting story. I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. It was my first duty station. Me and another Marine were working with a piece of comm equipment that had a 38-foot antenna. The vehicle was on a hill. She couldn't get the antenna straight enough to pull off. So I jumped up on the back of the Humvee, and I'm cranking on the antenna trying to get it straight. I told her, okay, we can pull the antenna up now. As soon as we pulled the antenna up, we got blown into a power line.
Oh, my God.
Being on the vehicle took most of the brunt of the zap. She had her T-shirt, had holes in it, and she got dropped to the ground like almost instantly.
Wow.
So just to understand here, Joe, so what went through you was mostly dissipated by the Humvee.
Correct. What the doctor said was it went through one thumb, out the other, and jumped to her because she was standing on the ground.
Oh my God.
I lost the use of my
You literally finger blasted her.
So I lost the use of my thumbs for a week.
Wow.
Now,
Oh, my
this
God.
poor girl.
Oh, man. And it was it
Son comes running out, and he's like, "What the did you guys do?" And he sees her on the ground. He's like, "I'll do the chest compressions. You do the mouth to mouth."
Wow.
Her jaw was locked shut. I
my
tried
God.
prying it open. She bit down on my fingers. The third time she did that, I grabbed a stick and was going to stick it in her mouth so she couldn't bite me. When she sits up and she's like, "What's going on?"
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. That. I was like, "Look at your shirt. There's holes burnt through it."
Oh, my God.
That's
So we
nuts.
she got rushed to the hospital. I'm sitting there explaining to the base safety officer, our battalion safety officer, and as we're standing there, my arms just start freaking out. And the EMT's like, "Was he part of the accident?" They're like, "Yeah." I get strapped to a gurney and I go and get an EKG done.
So after all that, was there any lasting damage as a result of that?
I have 2 scars, one on each thumb, and that's about it. Like I said, other than the fact that I lost use of my thumbs for a week. The other Marine, she ended up getting 65 days convalescent leave. When she came back, she still smelled like burnt flesh.
Oh, wow. Wow. So there you are. You couldn't hitchhike for a week, but she had 65 days. Jesus.
Nuts.
You guys are unbelievable.
Lucky to be alive, for sure.
Absolutely. Supposedly, we were told that the Okinawans put something on their power lines so that instead of the antenna, well, the antenna was basically fried because it was like fiberglass or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they said that the Okinawans put something on their power lines that when something touches it, it automatically gets kicked off so that you can't have that lasting shocking feel.
Oh, so it doesn't stay on there.
Correct.
Interesting. All right.
I'm terrified.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
Just listening to these stories, I'm terrified. The fact that it shoots down his body, jumps from finger to finger, then goes out like an X-Men, and hits her.
Yep.
That's why, I've changed ceiling fans and sconces in the wall. I mean, and that is electrical work. It's on a smaller scale, but I was terrified to do it, and now I'm not as terrified to do it, but I definitely make sure that every single the box is completely turned off.
Yeah.
What about just Preston when a fuse trips in the house and you go down to your fuse box and
that's
even
easy.
when you're clicking that back and forth for a second,
That kind of
whole
bothers
panel-
you?
Well, it's like.
Do I know what I'm doing?
You know what I don't like is the lights or the outlets where
The GFIs?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to hit that button. You're like, okay, is this going to explode everything?
I don't have that sensation. I'm just like, am I supposed to push that one or that one? Is that on or is that off? What does it mean when I blah, 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 blah? I just don't know.
We have 3 fuse boxes in our house. So we have one in the basement, we have one on the second floor, and then there's one out in the garage. And I'm like, something goes off. I'm like, it takes an hour to figure out what the hell it is.
Frank's been on hold for 20 minutes. I'm going to go to him. Hi, Frank. You're on the air, buddy.
Goldfinger.
He's the man with the Midas touch.
What's up, Frank?
So when I was a kid in the 90s, there was a store called G Boys, and they had an animatronic Christmas village.
Sure, yeah. Pierre shop there every year.
Right. So I'm going around as a kid, and there's a Ninja Turtle, and the Ninja Turtle animatronic is going very fast. Now, in hindsight, I realized that's probably because too much voltage was going.
Yeah.
But as a little kid, I was like, well, I'm going to touch the Ninja Turtle. And as I did, there was a large crack, and then my hair stuck straight up.
Oh, my God.
All right, which Ninja Turtle was it?
Leonardo.
Leonardo, that son of a bitch.
For Michelangelo, I can understand, but not for Leonardo.
Well, he's the leader. I had to make sure he was okay.
Right.
So, went to grab him. Hair stuck straight up. My parents didn't give a damn, and we still got the picture with Santa.
That's really funny.
I love the notion of a Ninja Turtle freaking out.
Frank has this glazed look on his eyes while he's sitting on Santa's lap. in a complete
What do you want from
stupor.
Santa? An early death.
Wow. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it, Frank.
Cowabunga.
All
Did you
right. Yeah,
do
buddy.
Did you do the Van de Graaff generator stuff in school?
Yeah. We there was this place called the Magic House. It was a science museum essentially for kids, and they had one of those where you put your hand on your hair stands.
Yeah.
I always thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Sometimes when you slide down, and AFV will have videos of this all the time. When you slide down a particular kind of slide, you'll get that.
You get the hair pops up, from the friction. Yeah. Well, Kathy got zapped, man.
Yeah.
Have you been shocked like that before? Has that ever happened?
Not that bad. No.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, apparently they were, so they're doing some work. They probably should have warned you not to touch the.
It was my dad. I knew he was doing work. I was just turning the light switch on.
I didn't know that.
It's my little girl, the guy who hooked up the doorbell as a turn signal.
No, it was my brake light.
Oh, the brake.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyhow, listen, gang, thank you for sharing those stories. We appreciate it. I mean, it can scare the hell out of you, and obviously it's really, really dangerous, so be careful. We are going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll have stories of people who are not careful. It's called the Bizarre File, so that's coming up, as well as our spring training Clearwater Word.
Yeah.
And your chance to win a trip with us. To go to spring training, and that's from PhillySportsTrips.com. Night Shymalan on the show in just a little while, as well as Craig Ferguson. So we'll be your co-pilot on this drive-in this morning. Stay with us.
Cities with away from the show.
You've got 15 seconds to answer this
I
question.
don't see Kathy writing. Chop, chop, chop.
Marissa, we'll start with you.
All right. I think Preston and Casey have a great bond. Preston and Steve, obviously the longest relationship here, plus Casey on top of that too. Kathy, you guys have the kids together. Nick, you guys have some bonds. I think it's me.
Really?
Yes, when we were out in London, Preston came to see me and my friends. He was there for like 30 seconds, and he was like, I gotta go.
Really?
So I guessed it was me.
Wow, yeah, and you're a little Miss Social Bug, so that's interesting. All right, Nick.
That's funny, Marissa, because I felt the same way about myself. And Preston's been with Steve for so long that I think you guys can talk.
Not in the biblical.
No, to each
sexual.
other about anything. They've done trips together with Casey, gone golfing or whatever. And then I just sort of defaulted to his relationships with Kathy and Marissa. So I'm going to refer to myself in the third person and say Nick.
And Marissa, I'm going to go over there to Casey next.
Yes, we all know that Preston and I share a nice bond with one another. We've had Valentine's dinners by ourselves.
Yes. You have.
We've spent a lot
Shared
of time
D-pics?
with hot tubs together and all that sort of stuff. So I definitely don't think that I'm the answer here. Steve and Preston have a long relationship. Nick and Preston definitely see eye to eye on a lot of things, pop culture wise and stuff like that. So I don't think it's Nick. Marissa, you had mentioned that it was you and your friends, but this question is about singularly and
one-on-one.
One-on-one, and I think you and Preston have actually hung out and had some good times together as well. One night in particular, after a singles mix or something like that, you guys went out for entirely too long of a time.
Pitcher's Pub.
Yeah.
I need to know more details.
So I had to go with Kathy on this one.
Wow. Shocking to me. All right, we're going to go to Steve.
All right, now we have had a long relationship, Preston and I, and it's we, till death do us part. Love Preston dearly, and we have there's a certain relationship we have that I don't think anyone can define. I think, like Casey, you and Preston share more in common than do we, Preston and myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everyone here has something more than I have, at least in that level. And I think we sort of keep a lot of what we share
For the studio,
the
right?
show.
Yeah.
And that's why I said me.
Yeah. But that makes sense. I get that. And finally, Kathy.
So, like everyone but Casey, they chose themselves,
Yes.
which is also what I did.
You did.
I thought it was me.
Isn't this telling?
What does this say about me? You guys all think I don't like you.
No. It's not about not liking.
I think it's like everyone else better.
Yeah. So tell me, Preston.
All right. I'm going to tell you with an explanation and a follow-up as well.
We don't have that much time, so...
The guys are off the hook because I am more uncomfortable with attractive women when I'm alone with them. So there's that. And
what are you saying?
we have two beautiful women that work here, even though they're very, very good friends of mine. That doesn't change that fact.
Right.
And this person that I would feel I'd have to say God, it's not that I don't feel uncomfortable with any of you.
No,
but having to choose, having to pick one, there's one that I kind of seek approval from because she's so great at what she does and a perfectionist in this business, and it's Marissa. So it's important to me what she thinks of me, and so therefore I would be a little nervous. Now listen, about that night in London, I'll tell you what it was. I showed up, you had all your friends there, you didn't introduce me to any of your friends, and you didn't say who I was, and I was kind of mad about that.
Wow. The truth comes out.
Yeah.
If we're going to be totally honest, that's why I closed down.
And it nagged at him for months.
Till this
Marissa.
very moment.
Oh my God.
No.
How could you? How could
And
you?
waiting in the waiting room is a therapist to work with both of you.
I'm sorry,
Dr.
Preston.
Joyce Brothers.
I guess I didn't want to be like, hey guys, this is Preston.
But
you guys know Preston.
Your lack of decorum has won you the point. So there you go.
There you go. Nice job.
That's the point.
We're moving over to Steve Morrison right
We'll
now.
hug later.
All right. A little known fact about the enigma that is Steve Morrison is that his great-grandparents on his father's side lost their lives to Titanic, both having choked to death on Twizzlers during a matinee showing. With that in mind, if Steve was Rose from the movie Titanic floating on that door with room for only one member of the Preston and Steve show, who would he save?
Wow.
Man.
All right, 15 seconds to write your answer down. That's hysterical.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was easy.
That was easy, huh?
Easy.
I wrote it down right away.
Oh, I can't wait to get there. Okay, we're going to start with you, Kathy. Who is it?
Okay, so after today's conversation, if we were on the Titanic, we would have had to pack in suitcases. We're in a hotel room, a little tiny hotel room you have to share with somebody. We had no idea that this was going to go down. So he is going to save me for sure.
Oh.
Great reasoning.
Wow. I like the part about going down. Steve.
I'm last. I'm last.
Steve.
He's
last.
Yes.
He goes last. So
That's right.
Yeah,
Nick, I'm sorry.
I'm going with basic math here, and Steve is going to need more room, so I'm going with the tiniest member of the Preston and Steve show, Marissa, so they can both fit on the door.
Wow. Okay,
All right.
Marissa, we'll go to you.
Well, the true Steve Morrison would actually give up the door and let two other people
very
go.
nice.
Just ask
You're
Steve.
right.
Oh, my.
You're
Just
right.
because this is a hypothetical, I also agree with Nick, and it would be me just for size reasons. That's it.
Size matters. Okay, Preston.
Okay. This might be a little selfish, but without Preston, there ain't no Preston and Steve show. And we still have a future to think about after this horrible tragedy. Well, I'm saying me.
All right.
Yes.
Casey?
So I would think like right after everybody got rescued, Steve would go back to work the very next day, and it wouldn't sound good to have the Casey and Steve show or the Kathy and Steve or Nick and Steve and Marissa and Steve. It can only be Preston and Steve.
Yeah, Robin Preston's dead, so that wouldn't work. Okay. And finally, Steve.
All legitimate reasons, but I
Yes.
had to break it down on survival, likeliest to survive
Yeah.
in the situation. Both Kathy and Casey are swimmers. Casey has saved my life here in the studio, but they are both capable swimmers. Preston is very resourceful and could survive, I think. Nick as well. And for the person I think who would be in the most dire situation vis-a-vis their size and lack of insulation, Marissa.
Wow.
Just because you guys would all be fine on your own.
Not to dismiss Nick's point of extra elbow room on the door.
Nick and Marissa.
Nick and Marissa both answer.
Yeah. All right, what's the point total so far, Case?
I think I have Marissa has 2, Nick has 1, Steve has 1.
All right.
Though if we were packing the way we do talk about, Kathy would have a certain edge.
Steve's love for the world of movies is exceeded only by his love of the world of porn. Disregarding the porn movies, what will Steve say is the one movie franchise he could not and would not live without?
Oh.
15 seconds. Boy, you all seem to know this pretty darn quick. That's interesting. We are going to start with Marissa.
All right. There was an obvious answer, but I didn't go with that one because I'm guessing most of you guys went with it. So I'm just going with Batman.
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 Very nice.
Okay.
Casey, what did you say?
Oh, I went opposite because there have been so many. I know that you love Batman, but you want to have sex with James Bond.
James Bond. Preston.
Kind of the same thing. I know there's so much. Although Connery was his favorite, and Roger Moore did a whole lot of those movies, but I still think he's got a huge fascination with James Bond.
All right.
Yep.
Nick?
Marissa, your answer made me think twice, but I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to go with James Bond as well.
All right.
Kathy?
I just said overall Marvel.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So, Steve, the answer is...
James Bond.
there you go.
Yes.
What is your fascination with Bond?
Since Bond, my father took me to Dr. No when it came out when I was just super young, and there have been many movie franchises, consistent franchises that have influenced my life, but Bond has been, marathon after marathon after marathon has been just at the core of my life.
Favorite Bond
Batman
movie?
is my... Whoa. Okay, so the one that is the quintessential is probably considered Goldfinger.
Yeah.
So, yeah. My favorite, Connery's my favorite Bond, followed by Daniel Craig, followed by...
Daniel Craig, really?
Right, followed by George Lazenby and Roger Moore. Roger Moore has 2 good Bonds, would be 3, Live and Let Die, For Your Eyes Only, and Spy Who Loved Me. And Timothy Dalton. They're all good. They're all good.
Yeah, all right. So where are we here now?
Casey.
Whoever you want to go to.
Casey.
All right.
All right.
We're going to do the list of show legends regarding Casey is long and in many cases embellished, including things such as him saying bubble scubosis instead of multiple sclerosis and being terrified of his home thermostat. This is the first time I'm reading this.
I never said multiple scubosis.
That's it. It's a saying. It's a false legend.
Which embellished legend about Casey will he say he would love to have go away once and for all? 15 seconds.
Listen.
What embellished legend about Casey will he say he wants to go away and never brought up ever again?
I predict everybody is going to get this one. This is going to be a 5 for
find out
freaking
about
5
this.
here.
We're going to start with Steve.
There's even in writing this question, I knew it might be a gimme, but we had to go with it just to give Casey the chance to dispel some rumors about himself, including bubbable scubosis and his thermostat. Ranch dressing.
What is it?
His love of ranch dressing.
Ranch dressing. Okay, very good. Kathy.
Yep, love of ranch dressing on pizza, all ranch
Really?
dressing. He loves it.
Nick?
Ranch dressing.
Oh, my, this is me. Marissa?
Because he didn't invent it, ranch dressing.
Preston.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's unanimous.
And we will go to the gentleman himself.
It's not my go-to, okay, guys? It's not my favorite dressing.
What is it about ranch dressing that you like?
It is actually pretty yummy with pizza.
Do you have the isolated audio of just you freaking out anywhere, Kay, so we could play it for Mark, just so he has an idea?
I don't know. You know what?
We don't have to play the whole thing.
The crowd loves that idea, Preston.
See if. Wait, hang on a second. It's recording. All right.
Yeah, why did that happen?
Yeah, there was a moment on the show where we brought up the fact that Casey was dipping his pizza in ranch dressing.
Thank God it was a pizza.
And yes,
there was a question as to whether that was calorically wise.
Yeah, here we go.
Can I make a suggestion without being insulting?
Yes.
Try pizza without ranch dressing.
Listen, you a-holes, when was the last time you saw me with ranch dressing?
Okay, can I jump?
And by the way, I don't always eat pizza with ranch dressing! I didn't invent it! It is something that I tried, like, within the last year! All right?
Okay.
Drop the friggin' ranch dressing! Drop it!
I will say this. I have seen you eat pizza at last 6 or 7 times.
Hear a little bit more of this.
Without dressing.
Did you say 6 or 7 times?
Well, I have not seen him have dressing on his pizza in quite a while.
And it's not something I invented. It was like I tried it because I saw a girl with a nice frame. As a matter of fact, right? I'm like, ranch dressing on your pizza. All right, I'll try it. And then he did it like 6 times. And next thing you know, I'm making ranch dressing pizza sandwiches or something. Shut up!
It's still just as funny.
Oh, my. I've never heard you so whacked.
Can I get a point for that easy question?
One of my all-time favorite moments on the show.
We need to move on. In many ways, Casey is sort of an ongoing lab experiment producing flatulence at an alarming rate. Who will Casey say is the one show member he takes the most joy farting in front of.
Oh, my
Joy?
God.
The most
Joy. And you don't end a sentence with a preposition, by the way. But who does he enjoy farting in front of the most? Gee whiz.
All right.
Got
I'm
it down there?
I'm
You're
good.
in? Everybody's in? We're going to start with you, Preston.
Now, initially I was going to say me, but I don't think that happens anymore because I'm disgusted by it. It bugs me, and he will do it sometimes in front of guests that we have in here. Oh yeah, out loud.
It's the
and I'm
ranch
like,
dressing.
dude, come on, stop it. And oh my God, Mark, some of them are just deadly. But I think he gets a kick out of actually doing it in front of Kathy more than anybody else. I think he finds that funny, but that's my guess.
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
93.3 WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Clearwater Word of the Day.
All right, this word can get you a trip to spring training with us. The word that I give to you is bunt. B-U-N-T. You know, like a cake. No, it's like a bunt. Of course, obviously, it's a baseball play. B-U-N-T. Go to the contest page, WMMR.com, and you can enter it for your chance to win a trip to spring training. It's for two people. It's from PhillySportsTrips.com, and it includes airfare, 3 nights at the Hilton Clearwater Resort, and tailgate parties, post-show happy hour with us at Coco's. We're broadcasting live from there on Friday, March 15th, and then having a little gathering. So you're invited to all of this. So the contest ends on Friday. Must be at least 21 years of age to enter. Contest rules and complete details at WMMR.com. And if you would like to buy your way into this amazing trip, there are some limited spots that are available. You just go to PhillySportsTrips.com to reserve your spot and travel with the pros. Good luck to you, friend.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by Mini Melts Ice Cream, the coolest on-the-go treat. You can head to Wawa and grab a single-serve cup from the signature Mini Melts standalone freezer and make it a Mini Melts moment. Mini Melts Ice Cream, but cooler. An Australian snake hunter discovered the second most venomous snake in the world in a toddler's underwear drawer.
Dear God.
Drawer. Not there. They weren't wearing the underwear at the time. Mark Pelly, based in Melbourne, was asked to remove a 5-foot eastern brown snake from a 3-year-old's bedroom.
Yeah, what you got there?
Pelly said Mom went to get some clothes for her son and found a large 5-foot brown snake instead. He said, we figured what happened. She carried in folding washing yesterday, and as she was taking clothes from the clothesline, the brown snake crawled into it.
Come on, no way to live.
Some people on Facebook asked how it was possible not to notice the reptile, and Pelly replied that the creatures are actually very lightweight and people tend to be oblivious to them. He said that's
great.
They weigh next to nothing, and seriously, this can happen to anyone. He said, I've seen people carry brown snakes in their handbag or otherwise shopping bags, and one day this could happen to you.
Yeah, it can happen just like that.
Eastern brown snakes, which are fast-moving, aggressive, and known for their bad temper.
And they can drive.
Are native to eastern and central Australia as well as southern New Guinea and can grow up to 7 feet in length. A Mexican bride was arrested on her big day while wearing her wedding dress. The lace-laden woman, known as Nancy N., was taken away from the ceremony in handcuffs.
What'd you do?
In her dress on extortion charges.
Save some cake for me.
Her betrothed, whose nickname is Raton or Mouse, is wanted on similar charges. However, he managed to give officials the slip. The pair are being accused of extorting chicken merchants near Mexico City. The investigation is ongoing, but they have pictures of her in her white wedding dress in handcuffs being hauled away.
It's kind of sweet.
I've never heard of that before. We've heard of fights at weddings and the wedding dress and stuff, but not arrested and handcuffed in the wedding dress. I love it. Electric vehicles may be the way of the future, but many EV owners are having trouble dealing with Chicago's bitterly cold temperatures. Public charging stations have turned into car graveyards over the past couple of days. One man, Tyler Beard, who has been trying to recharge his Tesla at a Tesla supercharging station since Sunday afternoon, said nothing, no juice, still on 0%. And this is like 3 hours being out here after being out here 3 hours yesterday.
Wow.
Beard was among the dozens of Tesla owners trying to desperately power up their cars at the Tesla supercharging station. It was a scene mirrored with long lines and abandoned cars at scores of other charging stations around the Chicago area.
Look, as I said before, I don't know a lot about electricity, but could you siphon some out of someone else's tank?
No. Tesla owner Chalice Mizell said, "This is crazy. It's a disaster." She was forced to abandon her car and get a ride from a friend when it wouldn't charge. Another man summed up the situation succinctly and said, "We got a bunch of dead robots out here."
I don't think that's a bad question. Can you jump a Tesla from another Tesla?
Yeah, I don't know. But it was no laughing matter to people like Kevin Sumarak, who landed at O'Hare on Sunday night to find that his Tesla was dead. He was forced to hire a flatbed tow truck to try and find a working station. All EVs can have problems dealing with extreme cold, and drivers need to hit their preconditioning button before they charge the battery, by the way.
Case, when they go to a vehicle that's trapped, they will bring like a small generator to generate electricity to charge the vehicle.
Here, Nick pulled this up. Model 3 cannot be used to jumpstart another vehicle. Doing so can result in damage. A man driving a skid loader on Sunday damaged several vehicles in a southeast Lincoln, Nebraska parking lot.
Left skid marks all over them.
At around 2:30 p.m., officers were called. Samuel Payrot was driving a skid loader and damaging vehicles in the parking lot. He then went over to a Home Depot, started doing that there. When an officer arrived, Payrot rammed the skid loader into the police cruiser. The officer got out, drew his weapon. Payrot then exited the skid loader and was taken into custody.
I assume no explanation, right?
Police said multiple vehicles were damaged and a man inside the truck had minor injuries. Payrot also damaged two nearby businesses with the skid loader, including a liquor store. The skid loader was owned by his employer, and he had taken it to the gas station with a company-owned truck and trailer. An investigation is ongoing, and Steve, no, there was no explanation as to why he decided to do that. In Texas, a large amount of cash was found inside a Ritz cracker box that was hidden under a car during a traffic stop.
New promotion?
Deputies made a traffic stop on Saturday with a K9 alerting to the odor of narcotics coming from the car. Deputies crawled under the car where they found a black bag in a natural void underneath the vehicle. And inside the bag was a Ritz cracker box containing a large amount of cash.
Well, everything does taste better when it sits on a Ritz.
Yeah, the sheriff's office determined the cash is the proceeds from the sale of distribution of illegal drugs. Christian Bueno and Erica Caniceros were arrested. Once the county jail, they found cocaine in their possession.
Are you a Ritz fan?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, love Ritz
Actually,
crackers.
ate them yesterday.
I find them actually there's a slight sweetness to them.
Yes,
they're wonderful.
I really wanted, because I was eating chili, and I wanted saltines, but we didn't have any, so I went to the Ritz, next best thing.
Even better.
Yeah.
I think even better. I think it's kicking it up a notch.
Checking into the Ritz.
Yeah, but I will say, I am so over my children leaving empty boxes in the pantry because there was an empty box of saltines, and I know.
What?
I know. I had saltines on the brain. I was like, ooh, I'm going to put some saltines on this chili, and then I grabbed that box.
Quick glance into the pantry.
Got them.
Great, we have them.
Yep. No, we don't.
I would, I'd be furious.
Well, you need to do like when you go into prison, you got to pick one of them, make an example.
Yeah.
Which one?
The biggest one.
Yeah, the biggest one. All right.
Well, listen, besides all that, we have that trip to Clearwater, and if you're just tuning in, the word is bunt that you need to enter, B-U-N-T. You can go to WMMR.com and enter that on the contest page. We are going to take a break. We're going to come back in a moment. We have a guest. By the way, just a little bit of breaking news. Do we want a breaking news thing?
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Jason Kelsey has announced that he is retiring from the NFL.
Yeah.
Last night was his final game, and a lot of people saw this coming, but he made the official announcement on his social media this morning. So
I think that's what made it so sad for me was even when they started to do terrible, I just kept thinking of him because I did watch that documentary, and that's what he did. He wanted to play one more year to win a Super Bowl, and it was looking so great, and the whole season I just kept thinking of him, and so.
Well, there's a shot that they have, and it's the shot that they're using to announce, his retirement. It's him sitting teary-eyed.
Yeah.
And I think all that was coming together in his mind that this is it, no more Super Bowl. this is the time.
no
I'm
more
retiring.
football.
No, yeah, no
Period,
more
yeah.
football.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. He declined. They said politely declined to talk to reporters last night.
Sure, yeah. So, not a big surprise, but sad news. But what an impact on this city and the game. So he's done great work. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back in a second, and M. Night Shymalan is going to be checking in with us. And after him, Craig Ferguson on the show. So we got some wonderful people to talk to. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You wonderful person, you.
That was my initial guess, Preston, was Kathy, but I thought he actually, like, deep down gets embarrassed to do it in front of Kathy. He knows I get mad at him when it happens on his way into the studio, so I figured the only person that might giggle at it was Preston.
Okay.
Okay. Nick.
I think because it pisses her off so much that he's going to go with Kathy.
And Kathy.
It's so disgusting. It's so awful. Yes, he does do it when there's guests in the studio.
No, he doesn't.
It's the worst smelling thing ever. It's awful. It's so stupid. It's childish. I hate every second of it. But I think that he gets a kick out of Preston's response at how angry it makes me. So I went with Preston.
Oh, there's an interesting look at it. Steve?
I'm going to echo Kathy's sentiment and say Preston. Yeah.
All right, Casey.
I will have to say, because he's not an official member of the show, but an honorable mention goes to Chuck. I mean, if he were going to be a part of this, I would say Chuck D'Amico, because Chuck...
He laughs at you.
He loves this. He says that my farts have personality, and they do. But I absolutely love farting in front of Preston.
I would have thought Kathy.
Yeah, no.
Kathy.
Even like when he gets mad, like when they're like silent ones, sometimes I sit there and I just wait for him to smell it.
Well, I'll just
sit next to each other.
So Mark will be sitting here, and I'll see Preston start to go.
Sometimes, I have Lysol back here.
Oh, my.
And Preston will just be in the middle of talking, and there'll just be a little...
just hear that. Oh, my God. I'm learning more about this show.
But I really do go into, like, other rooms. If we have guests in the studio...
You've gotten better.
Yeah.
You've gotten better. What are the totals on the points
I can't remember who answered Preston on that one.
Steve did.
I did.
And Kathy and
me.
Marissa.
Kathy.
Yes.
All right, so Marissa's now in the lead.
4.
With 4. Steve's got 3, Kathy's got 3, Nick's got 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kathy is our next subject.
All right.
It's not a stretch of the imagination to say that if Kathy Romano had written the musical Rent, we would not be singing Seasons of Love and instead would be singing Seasons of Activities.
Yes.
Fall, winter, spring, or summer, which season will Kathy say yields her favorite time-killing, energy-sucking activities?
Oh.
I got it.
That's a great question.
Yep. Will Kathy say yields her favorite time-killing, energy-sucking activities? Is it winter, spring, summer, or fall? And we're going to start with Steve.
This is sort of a tough one, but I know that Kathy and I share a lot of the similar loves of the various holidays. And now while Christmas is a
That's why
money...
you should have saved me on that ship.
Christmas is a money shot. I think, though, the stuff that happens around fall, between Thanksgiving and Halloween...
all that stuff.
Yeah, all
Okay,
that
got it.
stuff, and all of the access to it is
And with an
something-
8-year-old, you're busy doing. Yeah, I got it.
Right.
Okay,
and
Nick.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I think just because I think it's your favorite time of year that you love the season itself that I went with fall as well.
Ah.
Fall activities.
Marissa.
Because they're so universal, they happen inside and outside, and I'm pretty sure it was your very first list. I'm guessing that. I went fall.
Fall activities.
Preston.
I get over my depression is through fall activity.
Everybody wins on that one. Wow, that's good.
Cool.
The second question about Kathy on the Preston and Steve Show. Kathy is often playfully painted as a somewhat asexual being who thinks foreplay is laying down a protective tarp. Remind me to tell you Dr. Ruth's story a little bit later. That said, what will Kathy say is an appropriate amount of time for a woman to wait before getting intimate in a new relationship? While we're looking for a closet in weeks.
Marissa and I are going to differ.
This is Kathy. We will allow your answer to be in years.
So we're looking for weeks.
Yeah. Weeks? The closest in weeks. Yeah, we're looking for closest in weeks. This is Kathy.
Hold on, I need a calculator.
Well, yeah. So what will Kathy say is an appropriate amount of time for a woman to wait before getting intimate in a new relationship?
All right.
All right. People writing their answers down. You're in? Well, I don't think so. Casey.
Okay. This is a really, really tough one. I don't think you're as prudish as one would think, but like first date, 1 week, no, 2 week, no, 3 weeks, no, 4 weeks, I think is a nice, safe assumption.
All right, Casey says
about
4
a
weeks.
month.
About a month. Marissa.
I said that Kathy would approve of holding hands after 3 months.
Whoa.
Wow.
12 weeks.
Oh, Preston.
I think she's more of a slut than we believe she is. And I'd say Kathy would be cool. That maybe not for herself, but if she were to give advice, I'd say 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That's a short one, yeah.
All right. Steve?
I agreed with Casey, and I think 4 weeks seems about right.
Okay. Nick?
First of all, I can't wait to hear that Dr. Ruth story. And then, second of all, I went with 3 weeks.
All right. It's all over the board.
Wow.
Kathy, are you a prude?
Okay, so I'm going to go initially with when I read this question, what my answer was going to be. And the question is going from one relationship to the next, how long you should wait in between, correct?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was after the first date.
After the
how long
first
to have sex?
Getting intimate, yeah.
date, before getting intimate with someone.
Okay, so you meet somebody, how long will it take before you...
Right.
As they used to say, make whoopee.
Oh, all right. Okay. So from the first date. All right, then I need to rethink this because if it was from one relationship to another, I was going to say 24 weeks, 6 months.
Okay.
But I'm going to say, after the first date, and I forget what everybody said, but I'm going to say 4 weeks.
And Steve. Wow.
All right, so point each.
All right, Steve, you are now tied with Marissa at 5.
All right.
I have 3. Kathy has 3. Preston has 3. And Nick has 4 going into the... Nick, you are stuck with 4.
I'm done.
You're done.
That's right, because Nick is going to... Wait,
we have Marissa as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Okay, so there's still a chance for everybody.
We'll do Nick. A penny saved is a penny earned is more than just a maxim. It's also what you whisper in Nick's ear to make him horny. And while we kid Nick about his frugal way of life, who will he say is the next cheapest person on the show? So Nick being the cheapest, who would be the next cheapest human on the show?
Who will
15
Nick say?
seconds.
Yes.
Yeah, Nick will say this person is the next
I got
cheapest.
this one.
You got this one?
Yeah,
We'll start with you then, Preston.
I think that that somebody who knows a good bargain and is the queen of returns would absolutely look, and she looks for coupons all the time. She looks for special deals. It's got to be Kathy.
Got to be Kathy.
Gotta be Kathy.
My wife's the same way.
Yep.
All right, Casey.
When you said Queen of Returns, I was so relieved that you didn't say me. But I was thinking the same exact thing. She never pays for shipping. Yeah, so Kathy Romano. No doubt.
Okay. Marissa?
I actually think that Casey's family is just, I think your wife is the same, and I think your family, and I think it bleeds onto you a little bit. So I'd say Casey.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, in a good way. All great ways.
Kathy?
Oh, okay. So I did not think of myself. I don't think of myself as cheap, although I love a coupon and don't like to pay for shipping. I won't not buy it if I don't find the coupon.
Really?
Yeah, and just because.
But you like quality too, though.
Yes,
so,
and I like quality items as well. I went with Preston because I believe that Nick and Preston, when we talk about tipping conversations, they always have a similar opinion. So so I went with Preston.
Okay. And what is, just briefly, what is your tipping deal?
Just that Steve always goes over the top, and they'll do like the standard tip, like what's listed, and and not really go over.
Tip based on performance, not just
Right.
Steve is going to tip over tip no matter what.
I always over tip. I always do. Steve.
So, and for that reason, because Preston is not cheap at all, but we have those conversations on air, and when we talk about the tipping, those two will take that angle, and so I said Preston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, survey says.
Well, it turns out that Kathy and Steve are right. I went with Preston.
Oh!
And it was because of the way that we think about stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And because you're kind of cheap.
He's very generous.
Joking,
You see my bill from the vacation I just took?
Do you hate it when they include the tip without asking you?
No.
That doesn't bother you?
That doesn't bother me. In fact, added gratuities I'm fine with. But if I did get service that was not good, I think that it reflects on the tip. I mean, absolutely.
Do you talk to the server and say this is why?
No.
Never done that.
Do you do that,
I
Mark?
usually, but I
Yeah.
can't tell you the last time that I had really bad service and I
Okay.
left anything less than 20%.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, but I usually 20% is about right for me. So
Okay. Okay, second question about Nick. Anyone who knows Nick knows his passion for music and his love of both Eddie Vedder and Dave Matthews.
I hate Dave Matthews.
This begs the question, which of the following two scenarios will Nick pick? Eddie violates Nick while Dave Matthews directs, or Dave Matthews violates Nick while Eddie directs?
Wow.
Steve Morrison, you are a sick man.
I love that I got a gay joke and a cheap joke.
Yes. So Eddie violates Nick while Dave Matthews directs, or Dave Matthews violates Nick while Eddie directs. All right, that's what we're looking for. We're going to start with Steve.
Well, I thought about this, obviously.
Apparently you have.
And I think that Nick holds both of these gentlemen in high regard, but I think Nick is more concerned with how Eddie would think of him, so he would prefer to have Eddie direct him being violated by Dave Matthews.
Okay. Eddie directs is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay, Kathy?
No, I went opposite. I think that Eddie definitely violates him because if a man is going to violate him, it's going to be Eddie Vedder, and it's just a bonus that Dave is there. So
Just a what?
A bonus
Oh,
that
scared me
Dave
for a
is
minute.
there.
Okay.
So
It's just a bonus.
That's
can-
interesting.
he can direct.
All right, Marissa?
I think that Nick probably enjoys Eddie's voice more, so Eddie directs.
And we've got...
And I drove
After traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thank you very much, Kathy. So, as the turn of the year, the new year came around, you saw a lot of social media posts and articles that were, this turns 40 this year.
Yes.
Or this turn, things you didn't know that were turning 40 or 30 or however many years. And when I heard we were having our next guest on, I didn't realize it had been 20 years since the Village opened up.
That can't be real.
I know.
What the hell's happening?
And then, to remind yourself, if you haven't seen the movie in a while, the stars that were in it. Sigourney Weaver, William Hurt, Joaquin Phoenix, Bryce Dallas Howard, Adrian Brody, Brendan Gleeson. I mean, that's a ridiculous list of amazing
And
names.
you know what? While it was being filmed, we didn't get to interview any one of them.
Not
right. They're right in Chatsford.
They're busy.
Yeah,
they're busy
busy
doing
yeah.
that. And so is our next guest. And the event is commemorating the 20th anniversary screening of The Village. There's an event that's going on the 31st. Please welcome a guy we like to call our friend, Mr. M. Night Shymalan. To the show this morning. Hey, Night, how you doing, man?
Hey guys, I miss you guys just watching and listening to you. It's so sweet.
Thank you, man. We miss you as well. And sorry you couldn't make it in person. I know that was the initial plan, but we got hit, obviously, with a little bit of snow. So it is what it is. Hey, I wanted to ask you, and number one, so the event is taking place, and there's going to be a charity associated with this, which you always do for these great events that you have, and we'll cover a little bit about that. But Steve and I were talking when we were saying, how excited we were about having you on the program today, and the fact that The Village is turning 20, about how much we love that movie.
Yeah.
And before we dive into a little bit of the movie, I wanted to ask where you stand. It's 20 years old now. Can we openly talk about the movie, and its plot points, or is it still taboo to do that,
Well, no, you can't talk.
All right. The moratorium remains intact. I'll tell you this though, Knight. The movie, I think, right now, it could not be bizarrely more appropriate because it deals with a group of people who think they're doing something wise by by closing themselves in.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, there's a lot of divisiveness and people congregating in their own bubbles and that's how they protect their world. And it's not a good thing. And the movie, without giving away the ending, and goddamn that we can't, but is really speaks to that. Was that the reason, obviously, for the anniversary, but do you see it as being apropos of our time right now as well?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's sad that's true. What you're saying, that it continues to be relevant and appropriate for what we're feeling, maybe more so than even when I did it. There's a real sense of wanting to close off the people that you love from the things that are happening in the world. That kind of that instinct of shutting them off. And would you leave everything if you felt there was a safe way to do that, to protect your kids and your friends and your family from the world? And I was just thinking about it this morning because it's 20 years. I'm going to watch it at this event again, and it's been a while since I've seen it, and I'm sure I'll be thrown back into the 30-something-year-old version of myself, the 31-year-old version of myself, and thinking about what I was thinking about at that time. In my mind, it was very much kind of a love story, and it evolved into that, and what a wonderful cast, and so just I have all these memories about it, but it does reflect kind of the paranoia of our times, and it was based on. I think I told you this at the time when we were all together, but it was based on the property near our house, which was the Foxcatcher estate.
Yes, DuPont.
Yeah, so I would drive by it every day, and it just had this fence, and it was overgrown, and I knew there was stuff inside there, like a hospital, a mental hospital, and all kinds of stuff. So it kind of made my imagination, if I had all the money in the world, would I do something like that?
Well, you built this set. It was in Chadsford, correct?
Yeah.
And I remember all the excitement. You're obviously, as Preston points out, when actors and actresses are working on a project, especially an M. Night Shyamalan project, secrecy is of the highest. But while that was going on, I remember in the lead up for the movie, and I saw a couple of clips from it in research for this. The Sci-Fi Channel did like a 3-hour. It was, what was it called? The Buried Secrets of M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh my gosh, throwback.
Right. And to me, it was like we'd seen the Blair Witch use sort of a viral campaign. And this seemed to be, there was sort of this quasi-documentary, not mockumentary sort of element to it. Was that your idea? And explain if people don't know what it is, because I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was basically a documentary about me. But it was fiction, but we played it as real, and it came out around that time. And so it was fun because it portrayed that, oh well, there is something really supernatural about this guy and his life, and these are the secrets, and this documentarian uncovers it, and it's played straight, and I think a lot of people took it as real. And my aunt, remember, called me, and she's like, I didn't know you drowned in a pond. And I'm like, no,
yeah, they claim you drowned in the pond like in Unbreakable, and then there's and I busted out laughing. One of the clips, there's somebody apparently, quote unquote, an assistant of yours on set. You cannot look at M. Night Shyamalan in the eyes because he's in this zone, and it was at that point I'm like, okay, this is clearly done for comedic purposes.
And it was crazy. It was just a tongue-in-cheek thing, a fun thing that we just had so much. We just kept growing and growing, and then I think Johnny Depp's in it, and it's I don't know if you remember that. Like,
yeah,
he's in it, and he does an interview about how he was supposed to be in Signs, but I wanted him to. It was like very Cloak and Dagger and all the things that I asked him to do, and to not I have all these secrets, and he just went. He was so sweet, and he did this whole interview. So I mean, just when you look back on it, how wild it was. That was just kind of for fun, because at that point, there was so much kind of excitement about the movies, and thinking about, who is this guy making up these things? And I was like, then this documentarian theoretically found out that it was all real.
So you just come off the success of Signs, and
yes.
I remember, and Preston and I having this conversation about The Village. I remember that afterwards, some people were like, I didn't hit. Listen, not everything's going to hit everybody the same way, but to me, it was clear what you were doing, and the movie focusing on this village, and obviously people were looking for what they would kind of label your plot twist at the end. The movie works with or without that, I think, in just the performance of the villagers who've to your knowledge, have adopted this way of life that's, very old and sweet to them, but there's this nefarious element that lives in the woods around them. In retrospect, how do you feel, you're going to watch it again, but how do you think you'll feel the movie has aged?
I remember the burden on me at that moment in my head. Each movie I try to think of something to improve on or thing I'm aiming for, and really technically I was trying to be the best version of a writer-director that I'd been up till that point. So concentrating on the shots and the performances at the highest level that I could at that time. That particular movie, I think, has a kind of a connection to its audience in a really, really deep way. I've had many people tell me that they've used the lines from that movie at their wedding, and they've sent me their wedding stuff and all of those things, and tattoos of the things that are said in that movie. And I try to come from wherever I am at that time, and clearly I was coming from, how do I protect my family? How, and when I'm so scared about the world, and so it's some beautiful things when we talk about, when you guys listed the actors, I was like, I got a flutter in my heart. I was like, for so many reasons, for all of those people. I mean, Bryce was 21, I think, at that time.
Wow.
And Joaquin, we had just done Signs together, and he just came off Gladiator, and still just kind of me and him just, figuring things out. And then, of course, William Hurt, who passed away, who just was one of the greatest actors I've ever directed. Just an amazing, amazing person.
The movie affected me, not in the sense that I would use lines from my wedding or anything like that, because I found it, a little unsettling. And I think that's the crux of it, that maybe the subtext is that try as we may, there's still, and there's, it touches on mental illness and things like that. Try as we may to create a utopia, something about the human existence does not allow that. You know what I mean? Is that kind of a theme for that? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the complexity of who we are, that we to some extent, we're not meant to be completely content. As I'm reading a bunch of psychology books recently about how we grow, and we're not meant to be in a tensionless state. That's not how physics and growth happens, the organic nature of things. So we always need some conflict to grow, and some challenge to grow. It's why we pick the partner that we have to challenge us. It's why we pick our careers. It causes us to grow, and what we think of as the negatives of our society are challenges that make us think deeper or grow in a direction. And what do we think about humanity? What does human life mean? What do rights mean? All of those things. So I tend to spin it in my head, in a positive way, but that we're complex beings.
Now, Preston referenced this at the beginning of the interview, but, for a movie that's 20 years old, it's hard to avoid spoilers, right? But I took my son to see a screening of Unbreakable, which is 24 years old at this point, and he had never seen it. He didn't know where it was going. And to watch his face, because I knew where it was going, to see him get surprised by it made me so happy to see that he had no idea what the twist was going to be. He had no idea where the spoilers were. And so if you can go into these movies with fresh eyes, it really it's such a wonderful thing to see other people's enjoyment, and so, like, do you have any tips for avoiding spoilers? Because I hate spoilers so much.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely, I'm that same way. I want to, I try to tell my family nothing about a movie that we're watching. They're like, what's it about? What genre? I'm like, just sit down. We're just going to watch this thing. I don't want to give you any context. Last year, we did the 20th anniversary of Signs. It was so moving and so exciting, because the older generation brought their kids so they were like 12, 14, 15, 18, 21, 22, that generation that just were too young or weren't even born yet. And it was really amazing to see them watch kind of the language, because I think I try to have the cinematic language and the thought process come from an even earlier cinematic time. So I'm a throwbacky kind of storyteller, and so these guys are watching in 2022, 2023, a movie whose genetics are from the 50s, and so it's amazing to see them. I can feel them seeing someone think differently. Their brains are taking it in, going, "Wow, this is not a cut every second."
Night, I just showed my son The Sixth Sense, which was great. We watched it, all the way through, and then he's at the end. He's like, "Wait, we have to watch this again." I'm like, "Yep, that's everybody's response to it, buddy."
Yeah. Yep.
That's so great. I mean, for me, I've always felt a little bit like have a kind of an author relationship with the audience, more like an author in the literary world, like a Stephen King or John Grisham, like that. That's hopefully my relationship. That's the way I feel about it. And so, like, if you, like, for someone who's just reading the first Stephen King book or the first whatever, pick your favorite author, then they go back and read the other books. That's the great joy. In fact, we're in my library here, and you can see, if you see, there's the Agatha Christie's right here, and then Stephen King is over here. And so, the joy is reading one and going, wow, I love this, the world view here. I want to read all of her or him. and I'm, that's and the joy here now, the ripe old age I am. That hopefully there's a whole bunch of movies that this new generation is going back and watching.
The ripe old age. I would say this, obviously when you first came on the scene, and you do have a directing style that immediately just appealed to us. It has throwbacks to obviously your influences, but it's cool now to hear people reference you as established directors as their influence. Did you see a movie, or are you aware of a movie called No One Will Save You? Because it's basically the end of Signs, and the people behind it reference that, but they continue it on through. And I can pick out M. Night Shyamalan-isms in the movie. Do you see directors popping up that are influenced by you? And it's got to make you feel good.
Oh man, it drives me when they come up and say you're the reason I make movies, or there's like the writers of Quiet Place. They go to my movies and keep every ticket stub. So they have all the ticket stubs of all the movies I've ever made, and they kind of post them when I make a new movie. And whenever there's that kind of feeling of connection between them, I don't take it internally like, oh wait, aren't I great?
No,
it doesn't feel like that. It feels like, gosh, I gotta do the next one and earn this again. And then I'm so inspired by the new generation and how they think, and so it's kind of a back and forth. Even watching my daughters, there's a feeling of seeing them think in a new way that is daring, and it reawakens me.
So we haven't had a chance to talk to you in person since Old came out. And
great movie.
And Knock at the Cabin. But Old, again, we remember when you were putting it leading up to putting it together during COVID and these elaborate things that you did. And we love that movie. Preston and I are talking about that. I have to ask again, without giving the damn ending away, is there any plans on perhaps forwarding that, or there's such a nefarious thing that's occurring that I think it has legs. And that's just me, conjecturing. But any thought of that at all?
It's so funny because most of the movies are essentially like almost like mythologies or the beginnings of stories, the Unbreakables and Old, and and I guess I just enjoy the beginning of a story, and so I hold the rights to all my movies just so they don't get exploited in the wrong way. And it's hard for me to go back to a time when I'm making, like to go back to The Village and make a sequel about it. It's hard because it represented so much of who I was when I was 31, 32, and it doesn't represent me now. And now I have something I want to say to you guys. The movie that I'm working on now, it really represents where I am right now. And when we were talking about that kind of tensionless state that we don't grow in, for me, going back and doing sequels or doing something that I know I've done before feels like that. It feels like lack of growth for me. And, I'm so lucky here, and, 30 years making movies, and the movies people still care, and they come out, in huge numbers to them. And that's not a guarantee. And I feel part of that relationship of why generation after generation seems to hold on and still come to the movie theaters for me, is that I'm saying I'm risking myself. And I think those original storytellers like Chris Nolan and Quentin and those that have been doing it for as long as me and longer requires a kind of risk taking and not doing anything that you would necessarily want in advance, but a new taste.
Right.
Hey, you mentioned King, and I see some parallels in your storytelling, not in style, but just in the depth that you guys go into. And I'm a huge fan of his and have read most of his works, and he has these little tendrils that connect a lot of his stories together. Very, very slight little things via, the Dark Tower and so on. Are there, in the Shyamalan universe, are there connections to stories that we may not be aware of or that you have in mind that you've done?
I wish I could say yes. And that's simply because I guess when I was,
Because I'm sure there's
21
fan theories.
when I was when I was 21, 22, 23, 24, beginning this process, there's no way that I thought I'd be sitting here talking to you guys,
right?
And like that I'd still be making movies, and then that someone would ask me the question that you just asked. At that point, you're just going, I hope they allow me to direct a movie. I hope I get to make one more movie. That's just really the mentality. And so, I wish I'd been able to think about it as a universe, because they are very much kind of bound by a kind of a belief system of kind of something extraordinary coming to an ordinary person.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I saw. I wasn't sure if there was an intent, but I'm sure if I look deep enough, somebody has found a way to connect all of
somebody
these.
already has a concrete, and will swear that Knight is just hiding it, and he's not being honest about it. John Landis, the legend is, and he has, in every movie he includes "See you next Tuesday,"
right?
as on a movie marquee or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's part of the deal. I wanted to ask you, with Knock at the Cabin and Dave Bautista, who is amazing in that movie, and obviously he'd been doing The Guardians. You have this ability. Look at Anna Taylor-Joy and all of these people. I assume you are about as hands-on with casting as you can get, because you time and time again score these people who go on to great success, but are always perfect for the role that they're in the movie. Am I incorrect? Are you not? Are you just leave it to someone else? Or are you right there doing it? Yeah.
That sounds funny even as you say it.
Yeah.
No, this is this is the thing. And for me, when I see someone audition for me, or I see something that they've done, it just feels like a neon sign. Oh my God, this person is, I can't believe everyone doesn't see this, in those examples that you just brought up. So like Anya auditioned, and when I saw her audition, I'd never done any, she just finished A Witch, but they were still making it at the time. And so she was just a kid that came in and she read, and I was like, my God, who is that? That's the person. And I feel that every movie, that there's somebody in the world. I'm very lucky that everybody does audition for me. So I do get kind of, wonderful talent from every country. So whereas when you first coming up, no one auditions for you, you just get just a handful of people. But so I'm very lucky that way. And Batista, when I saw him in that Blade Runner movie.
Yes.
And he had a small scene, but as soon as I saw it, I know it's going to sound crazy. I told him this. I didn't even know who he was. So I just said, who is that? And he just kind of was coming from a different place. He's this 300-something pound man who was emoting. And I was like, what is going on over there? And so Dave and I have become such good friends, and he's such a lovely human being, and such a complex human being. And he really is a great actor. He's turned himself from, being a champion wrestler to a world-class actor. I mean, when I would speak to him, where he's coming from is so organic and so beautiful. And he was so risk-taking in that movie for me. So, and that becomes such a joy, because when you're seeing someone take that many risks each movie, that's the joy of the art, I think.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I wanted to mention the event, the screening of The Village is going to be a week from tomorrow. It's at an undisclosed location, but people can get tickets. You're going to be watching the movie. There's a Q&A as well, right, Knight?
Yeah, it's on the 31st, January 31st, and it's there's a kind of snacks and drinks, and then we screen the movie, and then they'll do a Q&A, and Bhavna, my wife, she'll ask questions about it, and it ends up being kind of a one-of-a-kind event. I've done questions and answers for all my movies, but these events are really intimate. I usually find something, and because Bhavna's asking me the questions, there's usually something that I literally never remember that comes up that I'm talking about the pain or the beauty of something that happened during that time. And it is a very, I think, cathartic thing to I feel very safe in the environment, because it feels like home. We're in Philly, and we're together, and we're doing it for our foundation, and also and all the proceeds will go to the leaders around the world that we support.
Well, I actually got to MC or be your interviewer for a sign screening, and then also for one of your events for your foundation, which is I always point to your foundation as straight through, being effective, getting it done. Nobody's got expensive office furniture and Learjets. It goes right to the people who are making change for the positive around the world. And this many years into it, all the good work that the charity, the organization has done, it must blow you away.
We're so it's hard. It's hard to even quantify the feeling about being a part of such positive change. And again, for me and Bobna, we don't think of it as us doing it at all. We're just kind of introducing you guys to the people that are doing it, the leaders around the world, and just kind of just introducing you guys to them and telling you about them. And these leaders that have gone on around the world, they've all gotten these incredible grants and moved on to millions of dollars in grants and expanded and helped hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. These people that started out with, hey, we want to try this way, have gone on and changed so much. And that's, as you can imagine, exponential as the years go by, as each of them keeps growing and growing, and those people that work underneath them keep going and going. And so in Philadelphia here and around the world, there's an enormous amount of change. I can't tell you how excited we get when we meet the next leader, when we hear about somebody around the world, she or he are doing this in their community.
You can get the tickets at MNS Foundation. That's M. Night Shymalan Foundation.org. So MNSFoundation.org. And you're right, it's 2 weeks from tomorrow, not a week from tomorrow. So that'll be on the 31st, which is really cool, man. You'll get to see the movie in a really neat environment with all these, fans and also ask the source material.
It's a great time and absolutely approachable, and everyone is there for the love of the artist, Night, and obviously the films that, and in this case, The Village is a home run, and obviously, and if you've never seen it, that's even better. You can get your little preamble to it.
Yep.
And find out about
for me, if you want your kids or family members, younger family members that haven't seen it, to watch it with them and then see their faces is. Kind of last year was so amazing for everybody that came.
Awesome. Excellent. Night, great to catch up with you. It's been too long. Hopefully we'll do it again soon.
I would love it. I would love it. I can't wait to see you guys give you hugs in person.
Same here. All right, thank you. We appreciate it. M. Night Shyamalan, guys. Take care, man. Awesome. Great movie. And pretty wild that it's turning 20. There's also a bunch of other people in the movie I didn't even mention, like Judy Greer and Jesse Eisenberg as a kid.
Yeah.
Is in it. It's really cool.
Yes, the cast is stellar and stunning. It is hard to negotiate not talking about the endings.
Yeah.
But I get it. He keeps the moratorium on revealing the ending for those who haven't seen it.
Yep.
But I think for a while that got, people thought that was like they would have fixed that as a gimmick that he is. No, the movie stands.
Yes.
Absolutely without that. That is a cool aspect of it, but the movie stands on its own without.
All right, well, listen, we got a break. Craig Ferguson is scheduled to join us in about 10 minutes, so why don't we do that? Return, chat with him, see what's up in his world, and get more stuff from the Preston and Steve Show. We'll be right back.
Wow. She drew a picture.
Oh, my. I thought it would be mouth and not...
no, it's from behind.
Yeah.
Oh, Preston.
You know what? This is actually... I have a new band name from this.
What is it?
Grunge Cuck.
Grunge Cuck. I love
Grunge
it.
Cuckle. I think that Nick's deep love for Eddie Vedder would mean that he would want him deep inside of him. So I'm going to go with Eddie violating while Dave directs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Casey Boy.
I did the same thing. I think he would love to have Eddie in him. And also, opposite of what you were saying, Marissa, I think he likes Dave's speaking voice more.
That's interesting.
But when Dave Matthews sings, he sounds like a billy goat to me. Okay, I don't know.
He does kind of,
he does, right?
But maybe in the bedroom, it's a little bit more.
Could be.
I genuinely appreciate all the thought that all you guys put into each, and the drawing, Marissa, was the pièce de résistance.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with I would love to have sex with Eddie Vedder no matter what.
And Dave is directing.
Yeah, Dave is directing.
How do we do on the points on that one, Casey?
I don't remember.
I didn't get a point.
I did.
Okay.
All right, and then Preston, what did you say?
I did. I got a point, yeah.
All right, so we have Preston at 5, Marissa at 5, Kathy at 5, Steve at 6, Casey at 4.
So Steve at 6.
God bless our callers. They've been on hold for 30 minutes now. That's
Sorry, guys.
Hang in there, guys.
So
All
sorry
right.
about that.
We leave the best for last. Marissa. It is no secret that Marissa spends a lot of time out on the town attending the trendiest events, often having to check her license to remember where she lives. Of all the multitude of events, parties, clubs, etc. that Marissa attends or frequents, which will she admit makes her feel the most pompous? All right, she goes to events. Whenever I used to live here, I'd run into her at 2 in the afternoon and 2 in the morning. And the question is, which of all the events she goes to makes her feel the most pompous? Interesting question. We're going to start with Steve.
This, to me, even as writing the question, I thought, is this too easy? But I figured, what the hell, why not go for it? I'm going to have to say dinner en blanc.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Fancy schmancy events.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay, Kathy.
I said the same thing just because I think she knows the joke behind it and that we all kind of
Make fun of
laugh.
her?
Yeah, laugh that she's going again.
Nick?
The name itself is pompous, so I went with dinner en blanc.
Okay. Preston?
I actually know it's her favorite event, though, so I don't know if it would be considered her the most pompous, but I couldn't think of another more pompous event, so I went with dinner en blanc as well.
Casey?
I honestly couldn't think of anything but dinner en blanc.
All right, so Marissa.
All right, so I thought about this long and hard, and I thought about picking up and going to Europe or Cuba or, just going to some random new Mark Vetri restaurant or something. And all of these, you guys make fun of me for being pompous. But even though I feel like it isn't that pompous, but I'm also just defending it, it's got to be dinner en blanc.
All right, so the scores remain the same. Steve is still in the lead with 7 correct answers, I believe, now.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and so the only ones that can either tie are Kathy and Preston.
Okay. All right, last question. To walk a mile in Marissa's shoes is to see the world at a sub-nose level. Which show member? Oh, my God, I can't believe this is the last question.
Oh, my God.
Which show member will Marissa say has the most out-of-control nose hair or cave bats situation? Wow. She's short. She looks up in various places that they think others don't. Preston is in the lead. We could have a potential tie. Then we will go to a tiebreaker question. I have no idea what that is, but we'll figure it out. We're going to start with Casey.
Okay, so it couldn't be me because I pick my nose all the time. So there's virtually never any bats in the cave. I got to go with Preston on this one. I don't really have any other explanation of him.
All right, Preston.
You know what? I've brought this up several times that Marissa has to view nose hairs regularly. I'm the tallest member of the show, so I gotta put myself in that category. She probably sees the most. Yep.
Nick, I'm hoping it's not me, but I'm going to go with Preston as well.
All right, Kathy.
I went with Preston as well because of the height. His height.
Steve.
I went with Casey.
Wow. Because?
Only because I figured there's a lot of work around there just lodging things, and stuff might be more visible because of that. Though Preston is taller, obviously, and the angle's probably better. I went with Casey.
All right, so potential tie here. Marissa, the answer is?
All right, I'm going to admit something to you guys. There is only one member of the show whose nose I've looked up, and it's because he's constantly pointing it out and seeking my approval. It's Preston.
There you go.
So, Casey, tell us the score, please.
All right. The final score is, I got to give him 1 and her 1. We have a 3-way tie. We have a 3-way tie between Preston Elliott, Steve Morrison, and Kathy.
Thought of something else I did one time, but immediately, here I am as an adult thinking I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. One time we were doing a promotion at the Granite Rim Mall with Y100, and we had we used to take a little putter and a putting green, and we would do a putting contest.
Yeah.
'Cause when you go to these promotions, you have a little game. People can play, come on, and when. So we're out there and we're bored. Nobody's coming out there. and I decide to take the putter and take a full-on driver swing.
No, you didn't.
To the golf ball, or I was pretending to. I was going to swing over the ball, and of course I'm aiming right at the parking lot. And we were in. There was like a tent sale going out there, or something. So there was a wide open area where nobody was parked, but about 50 yards away there were cars. I swung at this thing. I hit the ball. And it goes over and thunk and hits the side of a car. Big, huge dent in the side of it. And I tell an intern, I go, go get the golf ball. Go get the golf ball right now. Go get it. So they ran and got the golf ball, and I go, put the whole golf ball thing away. Put the whole putting green thing away.
Appearance over. Appearance over.
Appearance over.
Yeah,
Appearance over.
yeah.
Attention.
We've got our winner.
So put the golf ball away.
Appearance over.
And sure enough, like 10 minutes later, somebody comes walking out, and they look at the side of their car, and it's got a big dent in it, and I didn't fess up to it.
All right. How many years ago?
You're 15,
you're
16.
An adult man.
I know.
Wow.
Here I am.
Oh my
I'm
God.
confessing it right now.
Now,
that was not cool.
Don't say. But do you remember what kind of car or what color it was or anything like that? Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay.
But it was. I remember them looking down and them looking around, and here I.
People do that all the time.
Hands in my pocket.
Didn't we have a potato gun at one event? And we had it. It was like on a
almost killed
mortar,
people.
and we shot it into the parking lot. And didn't we hit a car?
Nope.
Maybe.
That never happened. Nope. I think there was another
If
show.
you
I
come
think
to
it was
any of our
Barsky.
events, park far away.
I regret it. I wouldn't mind making good on that.
Well, listen.
Not really.
What are you going to buy him a
should
new car
listen.
15 years later?
said, you son of a bitch. I spent years trying to figure out how that happened. I thought it was my fault.
Yeah, what would you guys say would be like a movie
Star
theme
Wars?
or score? Yes, Casey, it's number one.
Sorry, I didn't
That's
mean
o-
to-
no, it's all right.
No, you were asked.
That got 24% of the votes. Almost a quarter of people surveyed cited that as the most memorable.
What percentage are John Williams scores at the top?
Yeah, it's probably Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
Nope. It's just the one.
Oh.
So because after that is
007.
Nope. Saturday Night Fever.
Okay.
Bee Gees.
Yep. So Night Fever, Night Fever.
Stay alive. Stay alive.
Or Staying Alive, I guess.
Stay alive.
You know what that needed?
And you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man.
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty dancing.
13%.
But that's not a theme song. It's not like when the movie started, it was like, now I had. No, like that's.
We're dirty dancing, dirty dancing.
By the way, I saw
He's right
that-
though. There's no dirty dancing theme.
No.
There are songs within Dirty Dancing that are songs.
By the way, I saw on a commercial the other day for some food product. They used Hungry Eyes from that soundtrack as well.
Yes.
Hungry Eyes.
What's that other? She's like the wind.
Hungry Eyes.
I mean, my favorite song from that movie is this one.
I love this.
Who's this hula hana of? Come on, I want a hula babe.
What were the hits from the soundtrack? You had that. You had the
You had Hungry Eyes. You had Time in My Life. Those were the two biggies.
right,
And
and
there
then
was,
She's Like the Wind.
She's Like the Wind was in that as
and
well.
that's Patrick Swayze singing that,
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
They had so many hits that were already songs. It was such a popular album that they made two of them.
What was the one? Hey, lover boy. Remember when they were
How do you call your lover boy?
lip syncing that one?
I simply say.
What was that?
I simply say, baby.
Oh, yeah.
My sweet baby.
Here you go. We have the
Geez,
list.
do you remember the Dirty Dancing tour that happened?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Be My Baby, Hungry Eyes, Stay. Oh, from the Zodiacs. Oh.
Is that?
Oh, won't you stay? Jesus Christ. And then it says yes. There were more songs in this.
What's yes? What's yes?
I don't know. But it was by Mary Clayton. So
I was in 7th grade when that movie came out, and I remember kids on the bus listening to that record because it was so popular, and it was such a resurgence for that type of music, for that style of music, and for that age of music.
Well, really,
that they put out a second record.
The Big Chill was, I think
similar.
Two years prior to that, and that, I mean, that was an entire summer that I lived off of that soundtrack.
So we're looking at the Track listing here for Dirty Dancing. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Was that it?
No.
Different
I
one?
wanna know
if you feel
Overload. Don't know that one. Off the title.
93.3 WMMR.
All right, Kath, thank you. Our next guest is standing by on our Xfinity Mobile guest line. He will be performing at the Event Center at Live Casino and Hotel.
Cool.
Friday night, show's at 8 o'clock. You can get tickets at livecasinohotel.com. We love this man. He's wonderful, and we welcome Mr. Craig Ferguson
Hey.
to the program. Hey.
Good morning. How are you this fine day?
Craig, thanks for asking, man. We're doing awesome. A little bit of snow in Philly, but it's nothing that we're not used to. You know, where are you as we are speaking at this moment?
You know what? I'm up in Maine. I'm up in Maine right now, and there's a lot of snow around here. I'm kind of. I may have to put on a onesie and go out and roll around in it.
Yes. Do snow angels.
Please do.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Craig, you know, getting ready for this interview, did a little bit of a dive into your life and taking a look at how you ended up in the entertainment industry. I mean, you started off in music, you were a drummer, and eventually that led to you doing comedy. Was it... did people almost kind of nudge you in that direction, or did you have a clear-cut idea that I want to do this type of thing?
No, it was like, if you heard me ever drum when I was a drummer, you were like, this guy's clearly got comedic properties, but not drumming properties. and a lot of the bands I were in were really bad. And the only reason they were bad is because I was in them. But one of them. A lot of the time, because it was punk rock, and the time was, you know, there were comedians and, you know, people used to do performance poetry and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there was some unpleasant stuff going on. And so I kind of, you know, people would say to me in the bar, you should go up and do stand-up between the acts, between the bands, and then at least it would keep you off the drums. And so I did. And that's how I drifted into it. It was never a career plan. I don't really have a career plan. And I mean, at this point, it would be pointless to have one. I mean, I'm going to go down to Philly on Friday. I'm not looking any further beyond that, I think.
Yeah, and looking at the way your career has progressed, you seem like the type of person that's like, yeah, I'll try that. You know, that's kind of been your philosophy.
Sure. I mean, that was the way I lived my life with everything, you know, when I was younger, and certainly with work and show business. I mean, show business is such a kind of carny thing anyway to be in. It's like my wife always says it's just like you throw pieces of toilet paper at the Hollywood sign and see what sticks. I mean,
that's pretty astute. Yeah. I wanted to, first off, you were talking about your punk rock days, and I jotted this down because I thought the band's name was the Bastards from Hell. I love that. Yeah, so the good old days. I had mentioned to Preston earlier on the show that I have seen you, and I don't, you know, obviously your time on the Late Late Show was terrific, and we were all fans of what you did there. Would love to see you back. But, you know, things are what they are. But your presence on social media and on YouTube, there's a video floating around that has a lot of views on it. It is Craig Ferguson is a master of flirting. And it has you with all of these people. And a lot of these videos are trying to teach, at least seems to be the modus operandi, teach guys how to talk to women. And you have some of Hollywood's most gorgeous women who are guests on the show. And you're getting into playful, fun banter. Did you realize you are now being held up as the way to talk to women?
Well, that's just proof that there's more misinformation on the internet than we first thought. Because, you know, around our house, that would not be considered. I don't know. There's a lot of crazy ideas out there, and I think that that sounds like one of them.
Yeah, that's one of the crazy ideas.
Well, Craig, I want to ask you a sort of an odd question, but I'm friendly with Phil Catone, who used to be your assistant. I've known Phil for...
Oh, Phil. I love Phil.
Yeah, so do I. He's a great guy, and he and I grew up together, and so I texted him over the weekend, and I said, hey, we're going to have Craig Ferguson on this week. He's going to be in Philly later this week, and I asked Phil for a recommendation of something to ask you, and he pointed me in the direction of a bit that you did in 2013. The Super Bowl was that year, and it was, if people remember, it was the year that the lights went out in the Superdome, and you and Phil and Lucy Liu came up with a bit right before you were to host the post-game party show, where essentially you guys plugged in an iPhone charger, and that's what caused the entire power to go out in the Superdome. And it was a great bit. Do you remember that? And do you have any memories of that night?
Oh, sure. I mean, I remember Phil and I were standing there because Phil was I think Phil was working in my office at the time, or he was running the production company or something, and we were standing there about to go live. You know, the game was playing. We were backstage in the stadium, and we were talking to Lucy Liu because she was just there. I mean, it's weird, the Super Bowl. It's kind of like just packed full of people you know, it's this celebrity thing anyway. I don't know if Lucy Liu's a big football fan or not, but we were talking to her, and she's really nice. Then the lights went out, and it was either Phil or I, and I'm going to say it was Phil, but it was probably me, said, let's pretend. Actually, I think it was Phil when I think about it. Let's pretend the iPhone charger knocked out the light. And we just did it live like that. And I loved doing all of that. You know, I mean, live TV is fun for that kind of thing. But I don't know. It's very corporate to do TV as well. I mean, I don't know if they would let you just go ahead with something unscripted like that now. The stakes are a bit higher. Everyone's a bit more nervous.
He did say that you guys went out and got tattoos after the Super Bowl, too. Do you remember that?
Sure, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What'd you get?
Yeah, well, you got to do that. You know, I mean, you got to remember things.
What was it, a tattoo that commemorated the evening?
No, I don't do that. I was like, no, it was, first of all, it's on TV, so you don't need to remember it. Somebody can look it up on the internet.
You know,
and then the other thing is tattoos. I have I'm quite picky about that. I'm kind of covered in them now a little bit, but I'm quite picky about what I get.
So with the show, and you're talking about corporate stuff, and there was such an informal way that you did that show, and I'm seeing it clips pop up all the time now. I have to ask you guys, a fan of the show, you were like right up on the camera when you'd begin, and there was sort of a level of extra intimacy to you and the viewer. Was that by your design? Because it seems very informal, the presentation.
Well, basically what it was is the lighting was really bad in the studio, and if I stood too far back from the camera, you couldn't see me. So that I mean, it really was. It was so low budget, I can't tell you. And so I thought, if I stand near the camera and basically hold a flashlight under my chin, then we'll be able to do the show. And that's kind of why it developed like that. It was just because the lighting was really bad.
Well, with the stand-up now, and people are unfamiliar, or might be unfamiliar with what you bring to the stage, and stand-up, I was watching some clips. It is the Fancy Rascal Tour, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so where does a stand-up fit for you as far as, I know you've performed at the Fringe, and obviously this is something that you do. Is it a joy to dive back into this, to be doing this live stage presentation?
Well, I've kind of always done it. It was, even when I was working on the Drew Carey show, or when I was making independent movies, or like stand-up's always been a constant for me, because once you get into it, I get into it when I was a kid. I was like 21 or something when I started doing it. And it's kind of like, if you start playing the guitar when you're young, you can play in bands, you can play in an orchestra, you can work with a lot of different people, but really what you do is you play the guitar, and that kind of, it's my instrument, if you like. It's what I do. It's a way of kind of being autonomous as well, because a lot of show business is very corporate. If you're working in TV or movies, there's a lot of bosses and executives and stuff, and stand-up is the circus, man. You just turn up, do it, and leave.
Well, with that, if comparison to corporate holdings and restrictions and so on, you have a podcast, and you have a lot of great guests on your podcast. What is that freedom like, as opposed to on a television show, which obviously you had a lot of fun with, and you could get great conversations with your guests, but they were limited to short amounts of time. Here you have a little more freedom to stretch out and really converse. How have you been enjoying that?
Yeah, I love that. It's very helpful, and you're right. It's because you're talking to someone for an hour, and because it's a podcast, there's no real pressure about Well, for me anyway, I don't feel any pressure about having to deliver numbers. It is what it is. I talk to who I want to talk to about what I want to talk to them about, and it's not really possible to do that when you're talking to two people for 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Every night of the week. It's just that you're just not going to. There's too many people. So it's a completely different beast. I like it. It's more like it's a conversation, really. It's not an interview.
Do you in addition to that, obviously you've done your fair amount of voice work for animated movies, and I see here that you appear as Mason in Love, Death, and Robots, which is one of the freakiest shows that just caught on. Any plans to do more of that work with that series and/or animated movies in general?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. If they ask me, I'll do it. It's one of those things that, yeah, sure, I'll try that. The Love, Death, and Robots thing was, I was unaware of it, but my kids were very impressed that I got asked to do a voice in it, so I did it.
Yeah, it's a sort of an anthology, and it can be, whimsical, and it can be dour, and it's just all these crazy artists, and the stuff is amazing. I wanted to ask you, when you talked about your early days and, in the punk rock band, you came to the United States, you were working construction, and you were a bouncer as well. Is that true?
Yeah, but not in a kind of Vin Diesel tough guy way, more a kind of like, more a kind of weaselly, nah, you can't get in.
So less Vin Diesel, more sort of Woody Allen.
Yeah, less Vin Diesel, more just Weasel.
Did you work any clubs of note, or were you just working at a pub?
Yeah, I was in a club called Save the Robots in New York City, which was a very, very hip club in the East Village for about 20 minutes in the 80s. I worked that club. That was really what I worked. I mean, it was just that people picked up on it because they thought this guy was a bouncer, but not like a proper bouncer, just the kind of...
If it was...
just the annoying guy you have to get by at the door.
If it was a hip joint, any celebrities of the time that ever made it in there?
Oh, I'm bound by the oath.
The oath.
So only you and Vin Diesel know. So.
Yeah, that's right. The Illuminati of the doorman. We can't ever divulge. We're like doctors.
What was it? An after-hours club?
Oh yeah, it didn't open until 2 a.m.
Oh
yeah,
my God,
I used to do a radio show in New York, and I swear to God, I'd be driving in at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and you would see people on their way to these places, and it was in the morning. It's like crazy hours. Did that? I assume that effed up your sleep patterns, correct?
Yeah, my sleep pattern was a little informal in the 1980s anyway, so I was available for night work.
It fit right in.
Hey, Craig, we're a couple weeks into the new year, and this is about when people start to bail on any type of resolutions they may have set or plans for, being a better you or anything along those lines. Do you kind of take stock at the beginning of the year, or does that mean anything to you?
I don't really make resolutions because I realized that I can't keep up with them, and also it's such a cliche. So I just try and, not eat too much and get a little exercise. That's it.
Okay.
And not get into trouble.
Not getting. Well, we had you on when you were promoting American on Purpose, and it was a great book and very candid, and I think you helped a lot of people with that book and your own, achieving sobriety and all of that. Do you often hear from people who were helped by that? Because I think you approached all of that.
Yeah, actually, all the time. Actually, yeah. It's one of when I run into people all the time, it's something that people do say, and it's cool. I mean, it's not. It's very kind of. Humbling's a weird word. I guess it's nice. I'm glad. I mean, I just told the truth. That's all.
Yeah, you shouldn't take it for granted, though. I mean, really, there are people who needed that help, and you gave it to them.
Yeah, I don't take it for granted. I just I'm aware that I'm very lucky, and I'm happy to share that information with anyone who wants or needs it. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, you know, I mean, the guy was there and I got out of it, and here's what I did.
It's just one of the codes of the doorman to not be overly boastful.
That's right. It is part of our credo.
Yes.
We must never be too boastful or reveal which celebrities were falling down drunk in the club.
After the fancy rascal tour is over, it needs to be Code of the Doorman tour. Next
The
time.
only thing is, the Code of the Doorman tour, you'd walk on stage and not say anything.
Or, Craig, perform it in the front of the theater out on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is how do you charge for a ticket? That's not how that works.
I love it.
Oh, my goodness. Well, the show that Craig is promoting is going to be at Live Casino and Hotel. It's on Friday night at 8 o'clock, and you can get tickets at livecasinohotel.com. Do you enjoy, is Philly a favorite spot for you? I mean, it would be stupid to say no because you're
I
talking
hate
to the
that
audience
goddamn
right now, but, you know.
No, it's my favorite town in the United States.
There you go.
Thank you. Well played, sir. You are a doorman at heart.
Well, the city needs some livening up because our football team lost last night, and the season's over. So
Yeah, I heard about that.
We could use-
you know, I'm sorry.
we could use a good
I'll tell you
time.
one thing about Philly.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing about Philly that really made me laugh. The last time I used to have this thing in the act where I would walk out on stage and say, "I love this city. I just bought a house here." Right? I mean, it was just a dumb thing that I started, and I would say it no matter what city I went to. And every single city in the world, in the United States that I played at, people were like, "Oh, you bought a house here." But in Philly was the only one they went, "Nah, you didn't."
Yeah. Yep. Nice try.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, yeah, not going to believe it. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen.
Yeah. And they wouldn't believe it. It was very funny.
All right. Well, listen.
You've got to work on your self-esteem.
Craig, it is great to catch up with you, and very much looking forward to the show Friday night at Live Casino. And we hope you enjoy your time in our city. All right.
Will do. Tell Phil I said hi. I'll probably see him on Friday anyway.
I certainly will. Yeah, he's such a great guy, and I appreciate the Super Bowl story because it's a terrific one.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun night. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Craig Ferguson, everybody. Take care, sir. Yep. We'll see you on the weekend. Oh, he's great. He's the best.
Scottish, through and through.
I love Scottish people.
Yeah. Very
fun. They seem to be. Obviously, I love the accent. I think it's. I've told you on a woman. I think it's the sexiest accent in the world. That's me personally. And on Craig Ferguson, it's hot.
So
too.
sexy.
So hot.
Do you remember, again, I think in retrospect, obviously we didn't get to watch the show a lot because it was completely contrary hours to our schedule. But I really have a new appreciation for it. And, you know, I'm sure he doesn't want to live in the past. But there were a few things about that show that were so unique. He didn't have a sidekick. He had basically a robotic skeleton named Jeff. And he would, somebody would provide the voice for it, and it was kind of fun. But Preston, I think of all of the talk show hosts, his chair was the highest. If you remember, he used to sit way up, sitting.
No.
Yeah. So like, you could see, he'd lean way back.
Yeah.
And it was very disarming to his guests. So again, on those how to talk to women videos and those, you know, Craig flirts with everybody from Evangeline Lilly to, and they're all sort of beguiled
like
by him.
fawning on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So is part of the tip to, you know, sit something underneath your butt so you're sitting higher than them?
Maybe that's it, but also just his general way, as you pointed out, his very relaxed way.
Yep.
There's no creepiness. It's all just sort of wonderful conversation moving along effortlessly.
And you know what I never picked up on either until you pointed out was how closely he would move into the camera.
Right into the
You're
camera,
right. Like
yeah.
you lean in almost like he's having a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Personally, to lean in to make sure that you can hear him. So, yeah, he's great. I'm going to have to watch those How to Talk to Women video because he definitely, he was a flirter. Big time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ladies definitely appreciated that. All right. There was this story I wanted to mention. I saw this yesterday, actually, but and I was a little bummed out to see this, but an arm within the U.S. Department of Transportation called the Federal Highway Administration has declared that there's to be no more joking on interstate traffic safety messages.
This is a bummer. To me, when you can take something as bureaucratic and as annoying as just signs in general, you're in traffic or whatever, and you can add a little bit of something to make somebody smile, They're taking that away?
Yeah, I mean, it can be distracting, though, as well. I thought there was a Mothers Against Drunk Driving campaign where they parked a crashed car on the side of the road, and it says, it's something along the lines of, text driving is unsafe or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but also parking a mangled car on the side of the road is also
They've been doing that for years.
I
though.
know,
Well,
I know.
That's not a jokey one, though.
No.
The jokey one was like in Massachusetts. This was a great one. You probably saw this picture, but they had them posted on one of those highway signs that said, use your blinker.
Oh, and so they can't.
They
put
can't
that?
do that. Yeah.
Come on.
Blinka was spelled Blinkah.
Let us laugh a little.
And they said the sign should instead read like unbuckled seatbelts fine plus points.
Your mother's a whore.
She's a whore. She's a stinking whore.
Your mother's a stinking whore. That's the sign. And that's a chuckle.
Yeah. So
that's a chuckle.
They said that signs should avoid language that uses pop culture references or humor.
Yes. Last thing you want is happy people.
They say that the Department of Transit, they say that the signs can be distracting and should only be used for pure information delivery.
So on that distracting thing, there is an element of truth to that, in Casey, to your point about the mangled car. In fact, a lot of times, you used to see it a lot more. You don't see it as much these days, where at a place where an accident occurred on a road, a lot of times the family and friends will place these flowers. Stuff.
Yeah. Crosses.
They found statistically those things would end up causing accidents.
Yeah,
because people would be distracted by them.
I agree. And
Yeah.
I do see the. I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I don't have an issue with that type of thing at all.
No, neither do I.
But I do see it's kind of weird to put a marker where a death actually occurred. You know what I mean?
It's a memorial.
I know it's a memorial, but in the spot where they actually died, I understand.
And then up
obviously-
at like 10 yards, head found here.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Right.
Body here,
head found here.
That's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, but it is.
But I love
but
it.
It is it is a very morbid. I completely understand the emotion.
I understand how important it is, but I mean, I personally, I don't know. But having not have a loved one die in a car accident like that, I would rather just avoid that altogether, that particular spot, as opposed to seeing a memorial. Obviously there's a cemetery, or there's, you can hang photos and things like that in your home. But it would be a shock of a reminder for me, I would think.
Would you be down with placing that memorial at the car dealership where the car was purchased?
Maybe that's more appropriate.
But, like where my father's burial plot, it's, St. Peter and Paul Cemetery, but they show, well, first of all, he's right next to where my aunt and uncle are, but also when we're driving past it, you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, is that right?
And
Really?
all the more reason, so we also chose, my mother also chose a darker colored headstone.
Right. It stands out.
Because it stands out.
Yeah.
So when you're driving past it, you can look at it. So I guess I mean, listen, it's not where my father perished, but I do, I guess, maybe understand it a little bit.
Do you have a family plot?
Not
Okay.
yet, no.
All right.
No, we probably should do stuff like that, but
That's an interesting thing, the family plot concept, where that's where I'm going to be buried.
Everybody's gonna be buried together.
Yeah.
No, I've stood over where with my dad. He's like, "Yep, that's my spot right there."
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
man.
Like, whoa.
That was like when my neighbor Mike, when they had to bury their dog Heidi. Heidi was still alive at this point when he was digging the hole.
Yeah.
And I remember being there with Mike when he was digging it, and then Heidi walked up and looked in the hole, and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, they were gonna have the dog put down.
Yeah.
I'm not getting in that.
Yeah.
Don't you think I'm an idiot?
Heidi
picked up a shovel and hit him from behind. Dong!
You son of a bitch.
Thought you were smarter than me. Oh, no opposable thumbs. He's an idiot.
So the Federal Highway Administration says that messages with obscure or secondary meanings, such as those with popular culture references, unconventional sign legend syntax, or that are intended to be humorous, should not be used.
I've always thought they should allow you the ability to purchase birthday messages. So, like, somebody
on those highway signs?
Yeah, like in a
Happy
baseball
birthday,
game. Yes, I love that.
right? Like a shout out, basically, but mass transit shout out.
There is it's not a highway sign, but it's like a HVAC storefront that I drive past every day on my way into work. And
Lucky.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to brag. I probably should have started with that. But and I'm able to read, so I didn't mean to brag about that either. But they do have, they'll put up a joke.
Really?
I feel like they change their joke every week or two, and it's a little bit, but it's right at a light.
Is it question punchline, set up punchline?
Yeah,
or
kind of.
Elton John working out jokes.
It might be Elton John, but it's kind of like dad jokes. So sometimes it might be set up punchline. Other times it might just be a funny line. That's like a play on words or whatever.
So the age of the business sign with clever stuff or messages is all but over, right? I mean, I used to drive down the PA Turnpike a lot, and there was some sort of like a heavy machinery company, and they always had inspirational messages out on their sign, and I look forward to it. So, but you don't see that a lot these days.
Not a ton. I there's a couple billboards around that are, marquees around that I see people put up, stuff for the holidays and things like that.
Wilson's has one. Barbecue.
What does he?
He changes it up from time to time, and it's just funny stuff, or we're closed for the week over the holidays or whatever. But it changes.
It's like we smoke the good stuff.
Yeah,
because they smoke their barbecue and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
There was one about BBQ the other day. There was he broke those letters down to spell out something else. But yeah, they're clever.
Do you remember the nightmare of when they were doing the billboard campaigns, for the show and everything, and we want to put the pictures up. It's like, don't put pictures up.
Don't put our pictures
don't
up.
Do that.
No, we don't.
Do you know what can happen when that happens?
But you know what went away and we need to bring back is Marquee Madness. So
I love that.
If you're a business owner and you want to throw some love our way, that was fun.
Yeah.
Are we starting that now or
right now at this very moment?
We
Brought
usually
to you
do
by
that
Casey.
maybe in the spring we'll kick that off. But for a while there, if you put our name on the marquee, we'd give you a little plug on the air.
How about Yellow Snow Madness?
We could definitely do that. Yellow Snow Madness.
Write our name in the snow with your P.
With your P.
Yeah,
I love it. And if you want to go brown snow madness, that's up to you. It's all up to you.
Extra points.
So the states, by the way, going back to the Department of Transportation signs, argue that the humor signs are more memorable.
Yeah.
Pointing out a 2020 Virginia DOT study providing that they commanded the most cognitive attention compared to more generic safety signage. The feds rebuke the claims. And say that is not the case.
Which signs, when you look at the signs, and I tend to my eyes gloss over because any information I'm getting on my dashboard from my apps and whatever. But occasionally the ones that tell you the 10 minutes to...
I always like to compare it. I'll see how many miles versus how many minutes it's saying.
Yeah.
And... you can tell when it's completely clear when it has that. But I mean, you've got Waze and other. You've got Kathy Romano, your traffic maven, to
with her eye in the sky copter.
Yeah, but I don't really take note of them. I mean, sometimes there will be Amber Alerts and things like that pop up, and I'll pay attention to
you need
those.
that.
But Marissa noticed something. And this was years ago, actually, Marissa, that you told me this. You said yes,
Marissa's
Marissa.
the noticer.
Sub-noticer. She gets the high pitch.
Yeah.
No, Marissa noted that the highway signs, in order for you to be able to read them fully, you need to be going at least the speed limit or slower, or else you're not going to catch the message. They write them with especially the ones that scroll through a different page.
Yes, yeah.
The pace at which they do it is meant to be for someone who is going the speed limit, not someone who is flying over the speed limit. You will not get the full message. Remember that, Marissa?
That is so ironic that I noticed that.
It is.
Are you a leadfoot?
No, not whatsoever. But I did get annoyed over the weekend. We were driving back from Kutztown, and right at before, between Gladwin and Conshohocken, or Conshohocken and Gladwin, they had a note about 676 having some sort of divert or something.
Diversion, detour.
Yeah, whatever it was. But I was like, why is that all the way out here?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not even that far. They go on the interstates. You'll go, it'll be miles and miles, and they'll let you know what's up ahead.
But it really caused a traffic jam, and for something that would not affect most of the people that were traveling that far.
Well, that's not true, though.
It bothered me.
If you're at Conshohocken, think about it. There's not many exits to the Vine.
Kathy thinks you're a liar.
No. I'm just saying. To me, that is not far at all. That's actually pretty standard.
Yeah, I guess so. Just people need to read faster.
Yeah.
By the
That's
way,
what it was. It just makes people stop.
Casey has one of the signs from Wilson's Secret Sauce. It says, "Ribs for your pleasure."
I love that.
That's a great one.
That's
Steve,
good.
Steve Wilson. That's a good one, buddy.
You're good.
You're good. Oh, you.
I'm bummed. Do you guys? I don't think you drive through Delaware much, but Del Dot is like infamous for their signs.
Somebody texted in and said
Yeah.
Delaware does it all the time.
I pulled a couple of them up. There's ones like Woody says, "Don't drive buzzed."
Okay.
Toy Story.
Cute.
Okay, all right.
Get your head out of your apps.
Okay. Cute.
Don't drive distracted. Oh, squirrel.
Oh, my God.
Okay. I like it.
Save warped speed for Captain Kirk.
Okay.
You're not a Christmas tree. Don't drive lit.
What about that one? Go F yourself.
Yeah.
Steve, that one didn't pass.
No.
I like those. I think on a impact level, I think the message gets through better that way.
I think it
Maybe
might
that's just
actually
me.
slow down a little
It
bit.
really does. It's like the stop signs in Conshohocken, Kathy, where it says a rolling stop is a ticket fine.
It says complete stop $0, rolling stop 50 or whatever the ticket
May
would
I
be.
suggest something?
I like that.
Here's what you do if you want to slow people down: get a 28K old style modem and have it downloading a porn picture. Because it
that'll slow
goes
you
so
down.
slow, right?
The load.
Hey, I want to ask something. I think I told you guys off air last week, but I had somebody in my neighborhood because there were no posted speed limit signs.
Yeah.
And so we live in a community. It's got an HOA, and first I guess they were putting up those little signs. They're like neon yellow people that says like "Drive like your kids are here."
Right.
And then apparently somebody in our neighborhood took it upon themselves to go by and put up their own speed limit sign for 15 miles per hour.
Yeah,
I'm like, isn't that like
you can't do that?
you can't do that?
I think you
Well,
can.
if they were able to purchase it.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like
they made it themselves, though,
Yeah.
Kat. There were no postings that said 15 miles per hour. And so we get an email from like our HOA saying that it was non-enforceable and blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
So when you see a sign like, for example, when the signs go up and you'll see them in the actual street, children in this area or deaf child in this area or so on and so forth, I assume that you would apply for something, right? Or ask to be able to put that in the road.
Are you talking about an actual...
An actual sign. Like, for example, if you go down Lincoln, there's a point where Lincoln crosses, it goes into a more residential area, Lincoln Drive. And there is a sign that for in the road, in the middle of the road. Now, mind you, it's a double yellow sort of expanded area, but it's posted to tell you there are kids.
Right.
Be careful, look for kids.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like somebody there put it up. It looks like they petitioned to have it put up.
I got to believe your local municipality.
Right.
Yeah, you have to go to the
contact them. And every now and then I'll see one of those mobile you're driving this fast type of things.
Yeah.
I assume that is from quote unquote complaints.
Yes.
From people in that area that will reach out to their municipality and say, look, people speed through here all the time. What can you do about it? And short of setting up, patrols all the time.
Right, they just remind
they'll
you.
put that
Right.
one of those mobile signs that says you're going this fast, you can't be going.
So it's to my understanding that I don't know that that's not the case, but that a lot of them are actually put there, yes, to monitor the speeds, but as far as studies go, to see if that's like where they need to patrol if people are speeding there. So I think maybe in turn it's making you tap the brakes. But I know there was one on my street, and the guys told me that it was there basically as
to collect data.
So it's
data,
handled officially, though. I mean, so you, so
the township put
the
it in.
one thing you as a resident, Casey, can do,
right?
If you live in there, you are allowed to change 30 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour.
Okay, and you're allowed to put up spike strips.
Spike strips.
Okay. I do have a question about like when police officers will set up speed traps.
Yes.
Because I feel like there's a stretch of road near my house where the police will park themselves in somebody's driveway. And how does that work?
Yeah,
they probably back in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes perfect sense because then they wouldn't be looking at the street. But do they have to get permission from?
I would think so. You're on someone's private property.
I lived on a street, Casey, when I was growing up that the speed limit was 25 and people just sped, 45, 50 routinely.
Yeah.
And so my mom and some other mothers in the neighborhood were concerned because it was a residential neighborhood with a lot of kids. And so they petitioned to the local police department, and they would set up cop cars and speed traps in people's driveways because that's how the road went, and it was effective. It slowed people down. So I think that's the same thing that we were talking about earlier.
But can you, as a resident, say, "No, I don't want you in my driveway"?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah,
I would guess so.
It's your driveway.
Yeah.
By the way, somebody texted in. I've forgotten about this, but Pennsylvania is one of those few states where only the state police can use radar.
Yes, it's
your
true.
local police don't, which is I've always found that interesting.
I haven't seen radar detectors in like forever.
Yeah. Every now and then detectors.
Yeah.
But you'd cross.
You got
state
ways.
lines.
You don't need it.
Yeah, that's true. But sometimes you cross state lines. Like when you cross into Virginia from Maryland, it would say on the state sign, "Welcome to Virginia. Our police use radar."
Yeah.
Where are you from, Mr. McWing?
And I remember going in, maybe it was Virginia as well, Nick, that said, radar detectors illegal.
That's right.
Like you can't use them.
You ever get pulled over in Virginia?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
They
redo the riot act.
Pulling you over in Virginia.
Oh my cousin got pulled over.
You boys ain't from around here, are you?
Exactly right.
Where'd you get that hat, Kenny?
Yeah.
So my cousin gets pulled over, and the police officer, I don't know, he was maybe being a little abrasive. My cousin's kind of a smart ass, and he says, what's your last name? I'm just going to say, he's like, it's Robinson. He goes, oh, how do you spell that? And he's like, R as in Robinson.
Oh.
And then he goes, O as in Obinson.
Oh, my God.
B as in Benson. And he went through the entire... he ended up with a ticket.
Yes, he did.
Kidding.
Shocking.
When is visitation? When you
By the way, I want to double back something you said, Steve. You and Casey said spike strips. Haven't you always wanted to either drive over one of those and see what happens, or
we can do it.
The severe tire damage going into a parking lot,
on those things. And
I've always wanted to drive over and just have it happen.
You know where
I saw it
intern-
happen.
Okay.
I know, Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had one of our interns way back when, Lisa, who accidentally drove into a parking lot that had severe tire damage. She drove through, the first two tires pop, and her thought process was that, it'll reset, so I just keep driving forward with the other two. She popped all four tires. She thought it had once it felt the flesh of tire.
Right, it's been satiated.
That it would
retract.
It would retract and you could drive through. No, all four dead right then and there. But I've always wanted to.
Theoretically, I would like to try us because when you see them, and sometimes you'll see those guys run out, and they will flick that thing, and it extends across the spike strip.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see a car run over.
Yeah.
I always want to do it when I see those the ATVs and the motorcycles take up the road.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I could just throw a spike strip out there.
So I assume I go on Amazon. Can you purchase a spike strip?
You can buy
Is
anything.
it right?
Yeah, right.
While you're looking, I got this text, and I don't know how true this is. You guys might have to look this up. It says Pennsylvania actually passed a law that local municipalities are indeed allowed to use a radar gun now.
Wow.
I don't know when.
What about a laser gun?
When that happened, I don't know, a stun gun. There's all kinds of things you could use.
Steve, there are so many spike strips available on Amazon.
But like mainly for like animals, if you want to keep birds off of things.
Right, but we could try it out on cars.
Yes.
Birds drive cars.
Wait, you use spike strips to keep birds off?
Yeah.
Well, they're cars.
Yeah, yeah.
mean, I know
birds shouldn't be driving. They don't even have arms.
And they could fly where they're going.
They have wings.
Why would they even waste time on the wheel of a car?
Okay, so I actually have some of these spike strips. A lot of them are actually used to keep pets off of furniture.
So, and it's the same thing? They use the exact same thing for...
No, it's plastic. It's so what we're looking for is the real sort of like
tire damage.
Blow the hell out of your tires.
Well, here's one that says, warning, spike strips in use will tire damage will occur. This is on Amazon, and they are, how much do these charge for? $30.
Oh.
That's a cheap spike strip.
Yeah, but these are good for tires or used for tires.
There's the ones that are Spike Lee strips where it looks like little Spike Lee standing up.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
You could rig your car like Spy Hunter.
Yeah,
with spike strip, like a Bond thing where they drop out from behind there and take out your pursuer.
In The Flash, the Batmobile shoots something akin to a spike strip, but I don't think that was a real movie.
That wasn't. No, it was a real movie, but it wasn't. Those things that happen in it were real life. All right. Well, anyhow, so if you've enjoyed the little humorous signs, Department of Transit,
tough.
They're going to have to be going away federally. They've asked. Now, they have 2 years to comply for the whole thing, I think. So we get a couple more years out of it.
A couple more yucks. Now, since they know they're going away, start doing dirty jokes.
That would be a perfect one. So, all right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back in a moment. We'll get some Bizarre File stories. So hopefully you will stick around for that. Coming back shortly. We know every single one of these songs. Love is Strange. I think that's the one, Kathy. Hey, lover boy.
Okay.
Why don't you come over here, little...
Hey, boy. My name is Man Thing. Why don't you come over here and let's dance? Baby. I'm dirty dancing all over your face.
Just don't try not to move.
Don't move. This hurts.
Now do the lift.
We're filthy dancing. I'll lift you up.
Remember that remake?
A day after the season 13 finale of America's Got Talent, finalist Michael Ketterer was arrested for domestic violence.
Whoa. Well, it shows the system works because he only came in 5th place.
What did he do? Was he a singer or what?
He packed luggage.
No, I don't know. Michael Ketterer is his name, and I don't know what he did. We're looking at a picture of him with his arms open at a microphone, so that leads to believe that he may
did a
have
John
been
McCain impression.
A singer and impersonated John McCain. So those are the two things you can clearly get from this photograph here.
He's going to be playing a Vegas casino.
It's uncanny.
Yeah.
He just does John McCain and that's it?
Yeah.
What would it be like if John McCain sang the songbook of Air Supply?
A loving tribute to
one of our nation's heroes and the kings of soft rock.
I don't even have any air supply.
One of our nation's heroes. You're probably doing
so
here.
lost without you.
I'm sorry.
I knew you were right for leaving me so long.
That's
very specific talent.
It was the greatest John McCain Air Supply show I've ever seen.
And I'm bringing back my whole family. It's patriotic and it's romantic.
All right. So anyhow, I guess he was a singer and a John McCain impersonator. This is a student pilot.
Yes.
And I have not heard this yet.
Student pilot is soloing for the first time. So they've got their lessons, and now they're going to take it up and fly it by themselves.
Yeah, so she spent many hours training.
Yes.
And ready for her solo flight. And
upon takeoff, she's in flight, and they notice one of her wheels, its fixed wheels, has fallen off.
Okay.
The aircraft.
We have the audio of this, and I haven't heard it yet.
Maggie, this is John. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay, you're doing a great job flying the airplane. Keep doing what you're doing. We got plenty of time. You got plenty of fuel. We got plenty of daylight. So just try to relax. And you always heard me say go back to basics. So we're going to work the basics here as much as possible, okay? Keep everything as normal as you can.
All right.
Okay. Oh, my God. I'm choked up listening to this.
Seriously, I'm tearing up.
He's a calming voice, though. That's somebody I would want to speak to on the other end.
Beautiful job, Maggie. You got a whole bunch of people clapping for you up here.
She landed.
Great work. Thank you.
Good job, Maggie. Excellent job.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. I was nervous. Listen, I love flying in those small aircraft. It's really exciting.
It's awesome.
There's no way. And I have flown one. I told you my wife's uncle let me fly over Sweden, and I held the, I took control of the plane for at least an hour by myself. He was right next to me and had controls as well. But the idea of landing or taking off or anything like that, no.
Here's what I would do, okay? What you did, I would have the Fisher-priced wheel.
Oh, just to pretend?
Sit there like Maggie does with the dry. And that's how I do it.
Oh, after I rode on the Avatar ride down in Disney World last year.
They gave you a pilot's license?
You became a pilot?
No, but
He's
you
an
fly.
astronaut now.
All right, do me a favor. All right, I want you to calm down. It's like we've done many times on Pandora. All right? What's your name? Casey. Casey, okay. We're going to fly right by. You're going to see a whole bunch of floating boulders. You've seen it many times before. All right? All right? Is your ponytail attached to your bird of prey? It is? Okay.
We're going Going through the flying boulder field.
That's all it is. We're just floating boulders.
But after riding that ride.
Viewers of the American reality series The Bachelor are often told to buckle up for the most dramatic rose ceremony ever.
I love you.
But now the show's Vietnamese version has actually delivered on this. And I watched it.
Yeah?
And so it's the same. It's with this corny music. It's the whole, I mean, the difference is they're just speaking a different language. But it's, is that I love you?
I don't know what I love you is in Vietnamese.
No, but I like the delivery. So in this clip that has gone viral now, a contestant vying for the heart of Bachelor, his name is Nguyen Quoc Trong.
I am Bachelor.
Shocks viewers when she confesses her love for another contestant.
Oh my God!
Ooh.
She's a lesbian.
So that's never happened before. So you've had, a girl fall in love with another contestant,
Sexy.
as opposed to The Bachelor. So
it's okay.
She tells.
It's all right.
She tells Trung in a video, "I went into this competition to find love." Her name is Min Thu. And she tearfully tells him, "But I've found love for myself, but it isn't you, it's someone else." Thu then walks over to contestant Truc Nhu.
Don't you do advertisements for that?
That's that's Truc Nhu.
Oh, okay.
Sell 'em for less.
I'm like,
Sell
what?
for less, Jack. Tell Toyota, man. No, not Truc Nhu. Truc.
Tomorrow night on the Vietnamese Bachelor, Truck you.
Truc Nhu.
Jack, sell him for less.
Jack, sell him for less.
I love you. I'm not the Jack.
Truc Nhu.
Okay.
Who is holding a rose from Trung. And Thu asks Nhu, "Come home
What you
with
gonna
me."
do?
She says, "Come home with me, yeah?" Nhu then heads back to stand before Trung. She says, "I'm sorry. I really want to get to know you because you're someone who made me feel special, and I haven't felt that way in a long time."
I tell you what, the bachelorettes on this show are
they're gorgeous.
quite stunning.
Yeah, The Bachelor weighs in asking you, "If you decide this, would you feel regretful?" "This doesn't change my decision," he tells her.
Are you going to sell them for less?
"I'm not going to give this rose to anyone else." Truck.
Sell him for less.
Where's that voice coming from?
You only get one chance in this life, and you need to take it. Only you.
Who's Jack?
Not anyone else. I want to let you know that I think you'll have regret if you continue with what you're about to say.
Wow.
So the show's host chimes in, telling Truc Nhu,
Sell them for less.
Jack,
no.
sell him for less.
Says you have a connection with Trung that made him choose you. You should give yourself a chance. Don't pass it up. But Nhu seems to have made up her mind and gives him back the rose. She said, "I know you'll find somebody who really loves you, who understands you, who knows how to take care of you, who can look at you from afar and know how you're feeling. I'm sorry." And then the two women left together. But that's not how it ended.
Oh, really?
What happened?
Truc Nhu decided to return after...
I can never sell them for less. My heart is broken, and I have no inventory at this time.
You know what else I noticed?
Ooh.
I noticed.
Just notice more things.
I noticed that
Not just product renaming.
the Cold War
The Cold War, CW,
could have been a world war.
TCW.
But a cache of Soviet jokes that was compiled by CIA agents during the Cold War has been released among a cache of declassified documents.
Soviet jokes designed for what purpose?
It's hard to say because they mainly make fun of the Soviet Union. So all the jokes were told between Soviets but picked up by CIA operatives before being relayed back to Washington. So
do we believe that perhaps it were American operatives and spies to be armed with these jokes? It might be a way of sort of ingratiating themselves to, in other words, if you could tell a funny Soviet joke to another person.
They're not clear on what the purpose
or was
of this
it for their
I think it was just them.
Soviet review.
It was just part of the gigantic lists of stuff that they have at
So
the CIA.
there's a lot of Yakov Smirnoff stuff here, right?
The list was addressed to the deputy director of the CIA, but is believed to have been circulated among senior White House officials. One joke featuring Ronald Reagan made it to the president's desk, and he found it so funny that he began to use it himself.
That's the goddamn funniest thing I've ever heard.
So here, you want to hear the joke?
Please tell me. Tell me, Mommy.
An American tells a Russian that the United States is so free that he can stand in front of the White House and yell, "To hell with Ronald Reagan." And the Russian replies, "That's nothing. I can stand in front of the Kremlin and yell, 'To hell with Ronald Reagan,' too."
I don't get it.
Oh, yeah!
Did you say penis? I must have missed it.
No.
You said it was a dirty joke.
No, I didn't say it was a dirty joke.
Oh, yes, you did. What?
No, I didn't say it was a dirty joke.
You said it was filthy.
I think the Alzheimer's is kicking in, Ronnie.
God damn it.
Yep.
Where are my jelly beans?
It is not known exactly why the CIA began doing this.
It wasn't filthy.
Though since there were no polls in Soviet Russia, it could have been a good way for agents to judge public mood towards politicians and the government.
Why did chicken cross road?
Why?
To escape the extreme starvation caused by Stalin.
One particular figure of fun was Mikhail Gorbachev.
Why do I have stain on head?
The last leader of the Soviet Union who worked to end the Cold War by reforming the USSR. While this made him popular overseas, he was often reviled at home, as revealed by this joke, which tells of a man waiting in line at a liquor store.
Tell the joke.
A worker standing at a liquor store line says, "I have had enough. Save my place. I'm going to go shoot Gorbachev." 2 hours later, he returns to claim his place in line, and his friends asked, "Did you get him?" He said, "No, the line there was even longer than the line here."
That is a good one. It's very funny.
Another joke compares Gorbachev to...
You know, maybe you don't laugh at the same kind of jokes or something, but you told me that Gorbachev line joke and it wasn't funny. But I have one for you. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Banana.
I don't think you told that correctly.
Shut up.
Banana. So Stalin...
I'm going home.
Stalin was also...
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Stay in your seats or you'll all be shot. It's funny, yes? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
You will starve in gulag.
I'm here all Zavik.
I would say try Seville, but there is no veal. Try cannibalism as we starve out all of the population in Siberia because of extreme poverty caused by Stalin. Thanks for coming. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
They murdered my wife.
That's sad.
Yeah, but if you think about it, she was nagging.
It's a way Homer.
Have you heard the banana joke?
Heard funny joke from Rocky. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Banana.
Oh, God.
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by CSB Media Arts Center. Train for a career in broadcast media, web development, social media, marketing, and filmmaking at CSB Arts Center in Cherry Hill. Visit gocsb.com. That's gocsb.com. Ontario, Canada, police are reassuring the public that they were not hallucinating if they spotted a kangaroo hopping around. The marsupial escaped from the Greenview Park and Zoo last week, and this is the second time that a kangaroo has been loose in Ontario, Canada in just over a month.
I have to imagine the environment is not really the best for a kangaroo.
I would think so. Amazon delivery driver Alexis Prochnicki came across the animal on her route and had to do a double take. She said, "I realized deer don't have those little arms."
Crikey!
The kangaroo was rounded up after 3 hours. The manner of escape has not been disclosed by zookeepers. So I'm glad I read this story. Dude, I almost, within a foot, nailed a deer this morning.
No kidding.
And by that, I don't mean had sex with it. I mean hit it with my car.
You horn dog.
It was a 4-point buck. And of course, it happens on the day when the particular road I'm driving on is completely snow covered.
Yes.
Like I slammed on the brakes and would have stopped like that, but I kept on sliding and I just got myself ready.
Uh-huh.
And fortunately, dude jumped across the road, but it was a close one.
Yeah.
It's very, very close.
That would cause some damage.
Be careful. All right, so another story. Former Miami school board member Lubby Navarro was arrested for allegedly misusing over $100,000 on district-issued credit cards for personal expenses, including vacations, food, clothing, a fake pregnancy belly, and other items. Now, it doesn't indicate why she needed a fake pregnancy belly, but that was one of the items. She faces a scheme of defraud and grand theft charges. And Navarro, who held various roles in Miami-Dade public schools since 2002, served as a school board member and vice chair. The unauthorized spending occurred after she resigned, prompting an investigation.
All right, I got to find out what the fake pregnancy belly was for.
Navarro allegedly exceeded spending limits, frequently requesting increases and manipulated reports. The purchases, detailed in a 91-page affidavit, include electronics, furniture, gift cards, and prohibited items. She's accused of faking reports of spending taxpayer funds on personal luxuries and is being held for $2 million bond. But yeah, Steve, I don't know what the pregnancy belly was.
I'm surprised she didn't buy a spike strip.
Yeah.
What movie is that a plot point? Or the fake belly?
Pregnancy belly. God.
There's one that Angelina Jolie was in where Paul Dano was he was pretending to be someone else. And he's a killer. And I do remember she had a fake pregnancy. I think she gets stabbed in that belly.
Tomb Raider?
It wasn't Tomb Raider. It was a completely different story. But I don't know, Nick. Maybe there's been a couple of them, but that one definitely.
I'll look it up.
The Humane Society of the United States is accused Sloth Encounters Long Island of physical abuse and poor conditions of captive sloths after conducting an
poor guy.
undercover investigation. I know.
They're treating him like a sideshow attraction.
They chained him up.
Oh, he's so sweet.
An investigator.
You're going to come live with me.
Recorded that they captured disturbing footage of staff members hitting sloths kept in crowded conditions, sloths fighting with each other, and of the business owner, Larry Wallach, allegedly grabbing a wounded sloth's head and neck. People could pay $50.
You, Larry? It's one of the sloths.
People can pay $50
You, Larry?
to pet, feed, and hold sloths. According to the Humane Society, sloths should never be used in public interactions. They said that they are quiet, reclusive animals, and being handled by or even close to people can cause a sloth's blood pressure to rise. And while sloths may appear compliant while being petted, they respond to fear by holding still and may actually be terrified. Wallach,
I don't like that.
Converted a former pool supply store to sloth encounters.
Dude, what are we going to do?
And houses 7
the pool
sloths.
supplies aren't selling sloths.
The society also noted that between 2010 and 23, Wallach was cited 28 times for AWA violations from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. In 2013, his license was suspended for 6 months for several violations relating to animal care.
I'm sorry, Larry. Did you say sloths?
Yeah. F you, Larry.
Yeah.
You, Larry?
All right, this is a terrible, tragic story, but a mudslide in Western Colombia killed at least 18 people this past Friday and left dozens injured. It's horrible. An avalanche covered a highway on a busy municipal road in the mountainous area connecting the cities of Quibdó and Medellin, and at least 35 injured people were taken to different hospitals.
There's footage of this, and one of the guys through the windshield has to start backing the car up like crazy, right?
Is that the one that he's talking about? 'Cause I
it's
saw
gotta
that.
be, yeah.
Terrifying.
Authorities announced that they would start a search operation for missing people potentially still buried under debris. A video posted on social media apparently showed the moment of the mudslide when the side of a mountain slid over the highway, covering some cars. That's just terrible.
They had to send in cadaver sloths.
Oh, my God.
And they're so slow.
But they're meticulous.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do one more story, and then we will wrap it up. Let's end with this one. A UK couple fell victim to a scam when a home they rented turned out to belong to a 99-year-old man. Amy DeCruz and Matthew Morgan apparently found the home after posting on Gumtree. A landlord began to talk to the couple on WhatsApp, and the pair sent a deposit based on photos. However, when they turned up at the property, a confused, retired 99-year-old man who owned the home said that it was not for rent.
I'm thinking of some old dude in his underwear with a costume. Can I help you?
The supposed landlord allegedly stopped replying when DeCruz and Morgan asked for their deposit back. They lost several $100s and were able to keep their previous apartment. However, the older man said hopefully the person who is behind the scam is found. That was Frank Ballinger, by the way, 99 years old. That can happen. And there you go. That's what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. Did you ever find what you were looking for, Nick?
No, man. Some people are suggesting taking lives, but it's a violent scene where they end up like punching the woman or stabbing the woman in the stomach, and to prove that there's not a baby in there. And I don't know if it's a movie or a TV show or some pop culture moment, but like it's a vivid scene that I have in my memory and I can't place it. And
okay, there's a movie with Jennifer Lopez that I feel like. It's like almost like Peppermint, Steve. She's like a female,
like a superhero,
yeah,
or like an assassin or something like that. That doesn't come to mind either. Are you thinking of Selena?
No. This one was recent.
The fake pregnancy that was part of the plot.
And she was like stealing stuff, and then somebody ends up catching her. And the way that they help expose the fact that she was stealing things is they either like punch her in this fake belly or stab her, and there's nothing, they're not actually hurting this woman.
She goes, it was.
I can't remember what it is, and maybe it'll never come to me.
Okay, who knows?
Or maybe like in the middle of the night I'll text you, Preston, and be like, I thought of it.
That is probably what will happen. All right, and that's the bizarre file. We will take a break, come back in a second, and we'll get to lesson question, trash, music, news. Stay with us. These are CIA files.
Hey, I am having literally to hold stomach from pain of laughing.
Yes, exactly. Okay, I noticed that, and I figured we might have
Notice the Soviet humor.
Para-Olympian Danielle Umstead.
She's blind, right?
I don't know.
I believe she's a blind skier, Preston.
No, that's impossible.
That's what they said.
Shut up.
Check it out.
Okay,
Nick.
you got to look this up.
What's her
Danielle, spelled Danelle, Umstead.
And I think, unless I miss my guess, she has no torso.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be it.
Just her head.
Everything
on
is
her
connected
hips.
with pipe cleaners.
A blind skier?
Is that what it says? Am I right?
Well, I don't know. Nick's looking it up. I'm just curious. Is there a Wikipedia page?
Oh, she's a deaf gurner.
She makes the ugly faces, but can't hear anybody laughing. Oh, that's sad.
It's wrong.
Let's see what it says here. She is a skier and visually impaired.
Visually impaired.
She's full-blown blind.
Is she full-blown blind?
Well, I saw her, and on a small pair of skis next to her was a dog.
Oh.
Left, right, left.
2 barks for left, 1 for right. Yeah.
That's not fair to the dog.
That is not fair to the dog.
No.
Right. And
I mean, he's got to bark fast, and you never know if like they're right next to each other.
He also can't really tell you that he doesn't want to do this.
No, he's actually just being dragged along.
Just put him on skis.
I don't want to do this.
did we even say the words skiing?
Nick just said
you
it.
did?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I missed it. They may not be married, but Jennifer Gardner and Ben Affleck are still family, according to Ben's brother Casey. During an interview with E.T. on Saturday.
Are you still family?
No, entertainment television.
Do you all get together for the holidays?
What am I talking? What am I talking to here?
I'm E.T.
He walks in. He's like, "Are you serious? I have to do this."
Pulling himself up in the chair.
Thanks for talking with me.
Could you get my agent in here, please?
I'm talking to a turtle.
Yeah.
Not a turtle.
Turtle.
Oh my God.
I want a goddamn Oscar.
It was during an interview with E.T.'s Kelty Knight.
Oh, okay.
Whoever that is. I left that part out and I just said E.T., all right? So it was at the Are you still family?
How much longer is he going to be in rehab?
He's holding up his finger. Oh, my God.
E.T. could probably fix his addiction problem with his magic finger.
You're right.
His heart. Touch his heart.
Heart light.
Whole new human being.
New Ben, new Batman movie.
So stupid. It's so dumb. All right, TMZ reports that Davy Chase. Now, I looked her up, and it says she started the ring. She was Samara. She's the psycho.
Yes.
The scary girl.
The girl in the well.
And by the way, turns out she's gorgeous.
Yes, she is.
She was arrested, and she was arrested on a drug possession charge and spent some time behind bars. Yeah.
But she escaped through the television, didn't she?
She did. She managed to get out
I
of
knew
it
we were
through the
going that
TV.
way.
But she's had some run-ins. Last year, she was locked up after cops pulled her over for joyriding in an allegedly stolen car.
She was locked up for 7 days.
Is the phone rings after 7 days or something like
In
that?
7 days. Yeah, that's when you die. You have 7 days to get your affairs in order before you're... 7 days.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie. 6.5.
7 business days.
Business days? So that means I get the weekend, too?
Well, it's Monday's Labor Day, so about 8 days. All right, just stay there. I'm going to come over and kill you now.
Yeah, if you could be more specific, it might help in planning. So,
What if I go across the international date line? Let me get back to you.
coming up soon, we'll be addressing Halloween. But
Yes.
it's a favorite costume for Halloween parties and haunted houses.
Which is the one where you go to where they have a girl who really does the full, clicking and the whole body gesticulation.
Penhurst?
No, it's there's probably one there, but there's one, maybe it's
there's one
it's the one way out where we always get lost going to.
It's in Bucks County.
Yeah.
I know exactly the one you're talking
but the girl who does
Fear?
Nah,
might be
Valley of Fear.
It's out kind of in a woodsy area.
It's Grotto of Consternation is the name of it.
Hang on. Chrissy is on the line to tell us about that haunted attraction. And it is Valley of Fear, isn't it? So it's Valley of Fear?
It is Valley of Fear, and the girl who does play the one from The Ring, who was there for a long time, Liz, is just a phenomenal singer, too. I just wanted to let you guys know.
Really? Okay.
Oh, yeah, she's incredibly talented.
And she was good. It says you were moving along, she'd move along, and she never sang really, but she
didn't
I'm the chick from The Ring, and I'm coming after you.
So her name is Liz?
Yes, Liz.
All right, cool. Thank you, Chrissy. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Cause in 7 days
See ya.
you're through. Chappa-ta-ba.
All right.
It's not that scary.
I know, it's not scary when you sing it.
Yeah, right? Wouldn't it be a little less if it were a musical?
I live in a well and my life's kind of hell and I'm coming after you.
My life's kind of hell.
I'm the chick in the well and my life's kind of hell, but I'm a coming after you. In 7 days.
7 days. In 7 days.
7 days.
7 days. Coming after you in 7 days.
Hey. The Ring, the musical.
Turn my mic on! You turned his mic off.
I didn't turn it off. I think you might have hit the button yourself there, dude.
Uh-oh.
No, there we go.
I just hit that button.
All right.
Wait a second. What's going on?
Wait a
What
second.
just happened here?
Your mic will turn off in 7 seconds. Your mic will turn off in 7 seconds.
What? I don't have a mic.
Lindsay Lowen.
I was just watching Mean Girls last night on E.
Well, apparently there was this video of her dancing over the weekend, and it went viral.
Is it laughable, sexy?
I'm hesitant to even say viral. Like, how many does it take before it's called viral?
Good question.
You know,
viral is not, yeah.
So I just saw it this morning, and it's her dancing. And
what is it?
To be honest, it's not that big of a deal. It's just her dancing around a little bit, but some people have made a thing about it. She flips her hair in it. She leans her head down and flips her hair way up. So people are making a thing about that.
Oh my gosh.
Here, hang on. And there's the hair flip. So she does it twice. We're watching the video of it right now. And, well, now Busy Phillips and Kelly Oxford are getting in on the action. They spoofed Lindsay's now viral dance to the song Pillow Talk.
Oh, snap.
While Lindsay snapped her fingers and flipped her hair at her beach. I don't know where it is. Philip and Oxford got down in the kitchen.
Oh,
and
man.
Phillips wrote on Instagram, honestly, it's weirdly harder to nail than it seemed. Respect.
What's going on?
They're throwing shade. They're throwing shade at her, Preston.
Are they?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Shady?
Yeah, they're throwing shade, but through respect in there.
Yeah.
RESPICT.
That's right.
They're making fun of the hair flip?
Yes.
I would make fun of the mom dance instead. I mean, the hair
I've
flip
been
is the only
flipping
thing
my
that
hair
was
like
legit.
that since high school.
Right?
Yeah.
I
It's like
it
a
all.
stupid. You're drunk. Flip your hair.
I like Lindsay's thing, and I like the mock thing. I think it looks cute.
So anyhow, they did a thing about that thing.
Wow.
There was a thing.
It's just
Wow,
in.
wow.
The original thing has been followed by another thing.
This is what constitutes as news these days, folks.
Over the weekend, a thing occurred, which was immediately followed by two rejoinder thingies.
Pregnant Meghan Markle's sartorial choices.
Yes.
These are clothes?
Clothing, yes.
Okay, sartorial.
It's what she likes to eat at the food court.
Oh, okay, no. Frequently give fans a double take, generally for their stunning elegance, but some are wagging their fingers at the Duchess of Sussex for the skirt that she chose to wear on the final day of her royal tour of New Zealand, Fiji, and so on.
It was a full cooter shot.
Well,
it was up above her waist.
No, it wasn't. She paired a stunning royal blue Givenchy sweater with a sheer blue pleated skirt. So there was some see-through to it.
Well, you know what? She has.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I see it. But she has had a higher than they usually like the skirts worn with members of the royal family, but nothing outlandish. Whenever she's out, but she still looks elegant.
You can see the shape of her panties.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little
Does it
sheer.
matter
Yeah.
that there are sexy photos of her on the internet to the royal family, do you think? Because, when she did Suits and she did some modeling
There's a whole
stuff,
bunch of it.
Yeah.
And Nick, she had actually just done one prior to this whole.
To meeting Prince Harry?
Yes, and it's excellent.
And the whole family received a portfolio.
Sure.
The Killers bring us Mr. Brightside on 93.3 WMMR. Everything that rocks, of course. Cold today, as you might imagine. I can see a flag outside our studio whipping in the wind. So high only 32 degrees with the wind chills feels much cooler than that. Tomorrow, we'll have sunny skies, but our high temperature is 26 degrees.
So you mentioned the flag out there, and I'll admit it right now. There was a moment earlier in the show where it was flapping in the wind, and I'm like, why is someone wearing a Santa outfit out there? It was the red and white of the flag.
There's the flag. I had a cool little moment yesterday. This is just a brief little, it's one of those, if you can appreciate the little things in life,
yes.
it makes the day so much brighter.
So much brighter.
I went out just to put some fuel in the snow blower, just make sure it works. And I've had this snow blower for 23 years probably.
All right.
And a couple of seasons ago, I thought it was dead. And I went and I got a tune-up done on it and got some replacement parts done. So I went out and before the end of the season, 2 years ago is the last time I used it. I ran all the fuel out. I know that's the thing you need to do.
Yes.
You can't leave fuel in it. And I went out and I put a little bit of gas in there. I pumped it, primed it 3 times. I went over and I just gave it a light tug. And I mean a light tug on the starter. And it just... Boom. It started right up. And let me tell you...
Yeah.
how happy I was over just that little bitty thing happening. I've had that thing, like I said, for 23 years. It's
So I
a
got
workhorse.
a new one that, yes, it's great when you have something that just is well made. And
Love it.
But this new one has I can just plug it into a wall socket and it has an electric start.
I have one on my big snowblower. This is my little snowblower, yeah.
These were moments of gratitude for both of you guys, and I can appreciate them because I just experienced one myself. Thanks to our listeners, I figured out what the movie was that I was referencing before the commercial break. And it's The Cooler with William H. Macy and Maria Bello. And there's a scene where Sean, I think it's Hatosi, and his girlfriend is played by Estella Warren. They're stealing from a casino, and Alec Baldwin calls them out on Alec Baldwin's character. And they go in and they essentially attack Estella Warren's pregnant character, figure out she's not actually pregnant. They tear the fake pregnancy belly off. And so now I feel happy and grateful that I know what the movie was because I never would have figured it out on my own.
There's a little win for you.
That's
there
exactly
you go.
right.
My little win with my snowblower. You had your win with your movie.
That's
so
right.
Count your wins.
And I thought I saw Santa.
There's a win.
Yeah, that's a
right
win.
there. All right. Today's lesson question. Maybe you'll win this. We have a pair of tickets to see Mrs. Doubtfire, the musical, the live show, Tuesday, February 6th at the Academy of Music. So the question we'll pose to you is this. After he's finished the Fancy Rascal tour, what will Craig Ferguson's name his next tour? 215-263-WMMR. After he finished the Fancy Rascal tour, what will Craig Ferguson name his next tour? We suggested it to him. 215-263-WMMR. It happened about 9:15 or so, about an hour ago. And while you're calling, we will do the trash.
The trash business is a gold mine.
93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, one moment. I think we have a sponsor. Yeah, brought to you by CSB Media Arts, trained for a career in broadcast media, web development, social media marketing, and filmmaking. At CSB Media Arts Center in Cherry Hill, visit GoCSB.com. That's GoCSB.com. What's up this morning, Steve?
Well, Taylor Swift, and Beau Travis Kelsey reportedly had their first tiff recently while in Las Vegas. Witnesses report that Kelsey snapped at Swift while she sat there, guitar in hand, saying, "This is great stuff. Keep it coming."
Hey!
Jeff Bezos turned 60 recently, and fiancée Lauren Sanchez gifted him by posting a picture of her wearing a see-through Dolce & Gabbana dress with the words, "Happy birthday, baby." Bezos sent back a sweet response saying, "Can't wait for you to blow out my penis."
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
And finally, Lamar Odom has stepped forward to offer documentary celeb du jour Gypsy Rose Blanchard a dental makeover from his new company, Occidental. Odom bought into the Occidental because it's the first practice to sedate their patients with horny goat weed. And that's your celebrity track.
All right, to the phones we go. After he's finished the Fancy Rascal tour, what will Craig Ferguson name his next tour? And we're going to go to Craig and see if we can get the answer. Hey, Craig.
Hey, glad to hear you.
Glad to hear you, sir.
to hear you.
All right, what is the Craig Ferguson tour going to be called?
Doorman Code.
Code of the Doorman. I'm going to give you that. Yep, hang on. Tickets to see Mrs. Doubtfire Tuesday, February 6th, the Academy of Music, and everyone's favorite Scottish nanny is headed to Philadelphia. Mrs. Doubtfire tells a hysterical and heartfelt story of an out-of-work actor who will do anything for his kids. Tickets are on sale now via ensembleartsphilly.org. Show details are February 6th through the 18th at the Academy of Music.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
I just have two stories for you, and that's all today. The Who may be officially over if recent remarks from Roger Daltrey are to be taken seriously. Daltrey recently gave an interview to The Times. In the interview, the legendary singer was asked about the future of The Who, and he said he couldn't give a definitive answer because he's not the one who writes the songs. Of course, Pete Townsend writes those. However, he did say, Pete and I need to sit down and have a meeting, but at the moment, I am happy saying that that part of my life is over.
I don't know why you would have this information at the ready, but has Daltrey ever written a Who song?
Oh, I don't know. That's a very good question. Not sure what his songwriting capabilities are. In December 2023, Townsend made similar remarks. He said, I think it's time for Roger and I to go to lunch and have a chat about what happens next. He then added, because the final summer tour stop shouldn't feel like the end of anything, but it feels like the end of an era. As far as performing and touring goes, Townsend stressed that it all depends on a few factors. Among them is whether an idea would be doable and profitable. Perhaps the most important factor is whether an idea would even be fun to do. Believe it or not, Pete said that he has had a lot of fun on the road lately, even though he said in the past he's not super fond of touring. So, but we'll have to wait and see what they plan to do.
So, Steve, I just looked this up, but he's written a bunch of them. I mean, some of them were co-written with Townsend, but I Can't Explain, Behind Blue Eyes, Long Live Rock, Real Me, Baba O'Reilly. So there's a bunch that were co-written by Daltrey.
All right. And then finally, as Joe Satriani gears up to tour with Van Halen's Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony, he's doing all he can to replicate the Eddie Van Halen sound.
This cat really knows how to play guitar.
He said strings and tuning have a lot to do with it. He was talking in an interview with Australian musician. He said Eddie played at 440 and then E flat, and then he played light strings. He played nines, and even sometimes the lower strings were lighter. And on top of that, lots of rehearsal. So this is all guitar speak.
Guitar talk.
Player speak. Yeah, he's talking about
town talk.
He's talking about the gauge of the strings and also which notes he's tuned to. Satriani said that Eddie was a genius. He was just amazing, period. Because every time he picked up a guitar, no matter what it was amazing. He had the hands and the heart and everything, and I'm just catching up. Satriani is having special amps built to replicate the ones that Eddie used.
It's I'm fascinated by this this world about, with his guitar Frankenstein, which he literally Frankenstein together from different parts, and Brian May building his own guitars, and there's a specificity to getting their sound.
I remember ages and ages ago, back when I was still like in high school, somebody had told me about an article about how to try and replicate Ed's sound by customizing your amplifiers, and it came with a warning, and it said, do not try this, or warning, do not try this on your own.
Okay.
It might be dangerous.
Yeah.
You're talking about electricity and stuff like that, and it had to do with cutting part of the speaker cones and things. There was a very specific, Eddie got into the hardware.
That's a lot.
And tinkered with it.
I mean, we almost lost Kathy to an electrocution.
Yeah, we can't be losing any more guitarists over that type of thing. So he said, Satriani said, I'm going to need to feel and hear that sound to convince myself to keep going. Eddie didn't play with the gear that I used, or Steve Vai, or Slash, or Tom Morello, or any of his contemporaries. So the Sammy Hagar tour is kicking off on July 13th in West Palm Beach, Florida. And that's the last of it.
It was good.
All I got music news short for you. It's good. It's good. Let's take a break. One last chance to win a Preston and Steve Show themed tattoo from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. You need to text the word tattoo right now to 39333, because when we come back, we'll have a winner. You have been warned, and that is your last warning. We'll wrap up the program when we come back. Stay with us. And said, here's what we're dealing with.
She's a beautiful woman. If you need me, I'm going to be reviewing these photographs in my chamber.
How long is that going to take?
Wappa. Fwap, fwap.
That's it.
The fappening.
Wappa, wappa.
By the
That's
way,
the royal family version of fap.
Why does this all have to rest on her shoulders? Like, why doesn't she have people looking at her going, yo, dude, I can see your panties?
But she makes the final choice.
Yo, dude, I can see your panties.
By the way, Shake Shack,
yep,
love their burgers, but I might as well eat them while I'm sitting on the toilet, because that's how quickly they go through me.
Just for some particular reason?
Yeah.
Do you get the special sauce?
Dude, so...
He makes the special sauce.
I literally ate it one time, and I was driving home. I ate it by Helium. There's one right there.
Oh, no.
And I ate it.
Oh, no.
And I had to race... Oh, my God. I'm trying to get home. I was trying to get home.
Yeah.
And it was late. It was probably like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I
can make it.
And by the time I got to about Route 1 on 76, I was like, there's no way I'm going to make it. So let me get to the radio station. Quick.
Oh.
Stat, right?
Yeah.
Got to the radio station. Couldn't make it to the fourth floor. I had to dump by outside next to the...
Dude, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did you take a dump?
You crapped outside of the building?
I had to.
How long ago was this?
This morning.
God.
Kathy,
I
it was either that or in my pants. What do I do?
Sometimes I don't know.
Right? So I had to do it next to the. So
couldn't you at least pick a competing station?
Yeah. Well, no.
I mean,
Because
and also like just so open to tell the story. It's amazing.
Oh, not right away. I had to wait a couple of years before the security footage was deleted. You know?
Hey,
Gav!
More FM's right over there.
Right. Q102 is right down the street.
Q102 is down the street. Crap there.
Oh my God.
The story does get a little bit better.
Funny.
How could it?
How?
But could you have imagined had he been stopped at another radio station simply because it was an emergency?
Yes. Right.
Local broadcaster in a clear attempt.
Like a superintendent of a school.
Right, exactly.
Right?
He would have been raised to heroic levels here.
Now, how does the story get better?
Oh, man. I think I'm just going to end it there.
No. You started down the path.
Just say it quietly so we can't hear it.
I'll just whisper it.
They're not listening.
So,
Yeah.
So I had to
smeared it on someone's car.
I had to leave it there in the grass.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it with me.
Right.
Oh, you didn't want to take it with you?
No. I couldn't. So what
You
ended
take
up.
your dog for a walk.
So,
I left it there.
all right. So a little bit did end up in my underpants. So I had.
That was just like a bingo.
So I had to put. Luckily I had. Nobody can hear this, right?
Right, no, we're good.
So luckily I had all these T-shirts in the back of my car.
Did you fashion a makeshift underwear?
I literally wore a pink T-shirt as underwear on the drive home. Oh no! It gets better. Okay, so then I'm on my way home and I'm thinking, dude, there is like T-shirts and poop and all this stuff next to the building. All right, so I can't. Like if security goes and they see that on Monday, they're gonna go, well, who pooped here
and look at security.
They're going to look at security and they're going to see me like all ashamed, crouching next to my car. So on Monday, I came back to work with a giant trash bag and I had to like collect it all.
Oh my God.
And then throw it in the dumpster.
So he cleaned his spot.
Yeah, I cleaned my spot.
hate you.
I hate me too, Kathy. When I got home,
And this was all because of what?
freaking Shake
Guys.
Shack.
Oh, Shake Shack.
No, not Five Guys. Don't you talk
They're
bad about-
fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
Where in the building was it?
On the over
By
at
the loading docks. Well, you unloaded.
Yeah,
Wait,
I had to go. What's that?
Why didn't you come inside?
He couldn't get in.
I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I do. Believe me. I'm not.
don't.
This is not a proud moment here, Kathy.
Yeah.
Though you would assume it could have been a proud moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you came back. And that's noble.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't necessarily noble. It was self-preservation.
The last thing you wanted is that footage to end up. But what's worse, the footage of you doing it or the footage of you collecting it back up in the bag?
They watched both and they were like, okay,
Yeah,
well, he came back and cleaned.
You know, we'll erase this.
All right, so you should eat your hamburger upside down.
on the toilet.
That's what we got.
That's all. That's all I noticed. I didn't. There's
notice.
That's it. I can't top that.
No, it ends there.
I will not be able
like
to.
a derailing train.
Right.
So nobody heard that, right?
Nobody heard that. People magazine is named its 2018 sexiest man alive.
Yeah.
And it is Idris Elba.
Oh, Kathy?
The British actor says the honor has given him a boost of self-confidence.
What do you think? Are you an Idris Elba fan?
Pull up a picture.
Okay. You don't remember?
You don't know what he looks like?
No, I do, but like, let me just look at.
Let her drink him in.
Yeah, I don't like. Is that the picture they use?
Let her take a sip of that chocolate.
Yeah,
milk.
that's from people.com.
I don't love the picture that they use. I wish they used a different picture, but yeah, no, he's good looking for sure.
He was surprised after being crowned this year's winner. I was like, come on, no way, really? He told the magazine.
You guys.
He said, look. Here, there's the cover picture.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's like Lovey.
Well, like Lovey from Gilligan's Island?
No, like not where you would look at some of them and be like, oh my God, he's so hot. Like this guy's like, he probably would give you a good hug.
Part of it is his voice and his demeanor. He is planning a wedding with his fiancée Sabrina Dahor. No.
Yeah, well, I don't
Sabrina
know.
Dahor?
Dower.
Dahore?
Dahore.
Oh, you mean Dahor?
Dahor. It's all the same letters.
Who are you marrying? Sabrina. Oh, Dahor?
Dhowre.
No,
and
not Dahor.
If you move the W to the beginning or in between the D and H, it looks like Dahor.
No, it's Dahor.
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 Dahore. Anyhow, the actor has
I'm not marrying a whore.
16-year-old daughter named Isan and a 4-year-old son named Winston. What a great name.
Yeah, I almost
like
named my
that.
dog Winston.
From previous
him know.
relationships. Elba told people about his upbringing.
Yes, Idris. My name is Casey. I produce a show in the States. I almost named my dog Winston.
When you said let him know, I thought you were talking about let my dog know.
I did too. Come here, buddy.
Come here.
You're almost
Listen,
Winston.
Reggie, I almost named
Dog. I don't understand what you're saying.
We began Wigapalooza.
I'm very excited.
If you just tuned in, we talked about this a while back. What would Steve look like with a head of realistic human hair and not goofy looking wigs? Actual hair. We want to see what Steve would look like with a realistic looking hairstyle.
These wigs are usually fitted to people's heads, so Steve's got a bigger head. I actually thought his head was a little bit smaller than that.
Should we bring him in?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
let's have Steve come in and see what the actual. Wow! Dude, oh my God!
You haven't seen
You
it?
haven't? Kathy's got to have a mirror.
Get the big mirror from the office.
Steve, you look better bald, man.
Casey,
Wait,
that does look good. You fixed the sides.
Yeah.
Do you know whose hair I immediately think of for some reason? Because
Oh, Jesus Christ.
he looks like Danny Briere's hair for some reason.
Wow,
Am I not wrong about that?
That's
Danny
absolutely right.
Briere,
Dude,
formerly of the Flyers.
No,
What? Who are you thinking of? Here,
Bachelor-
move your microphone over, Steve. So I can.
From bachelor party and
Adrian
Zmed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, how
It's
come
the
there no
profile
sideburn?
that I love.
I guess you have to. Well, I look like a '60s pop star. Hey, everybody.
Yeah. All right. Anyhow.
This is one that's for the ladies.
Yeah.
It's what you call a panty dropper in the biz.
Yeah, Steve. We need a voice with that
That's right,
wig.
yeah.
What is that? The voice?
I need
you think,
yeah.
or-
I think that's kind of the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Or kind of the voice.
The back looks good too, like
Does
the
the
neckline.
back look good?
Yeah, the neckline.
Yeah. The back looks real.
Am I making you wet, baby?
Looks totally real. Somebody says you look like Paul McCartney. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody says Phil Mickelson or Ralph Macchio.
Well, a little Ralph Macchio.
A little bit.
The Karate Kid on Hard Times.
And by the way, you'll need.
Hey, Mr. Miyagi, how are you?
You'll need.
What the hell happened?
There you go. Yes, Steve's doing the dance moves. And we'll put.
I could walk you home.
Makes me feel fine. Oh, Steve. The hair. Oh my God. Blink 182, a great song. One more time on 93.3 WMMR. It's everything that rocks. It is 10:33. That's my tribute to the Struts.
What did you say that bell reminded you of again?
Spiller. It reminds me of the Rocky Bell.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
Yeah.
Exactly. When he's in Rocky Balboa, one of our favorite ones, Steve.
Yeah.
It rings right as he's about to, be counted out, and he just goes, "Get up." You go, ding.
Yeah, I
get
love
up.
that.
What'd the kid say? What'd I say to the kid? It's a great scene. So here we are at the end of today's radio program on a Tuesday morning, inclement weather, but nonetheless not horrible. I'll take this as our first snow in 2 years.
Faux show.
We didn't get a 2-footer dumped on us. We got,
Broke a record in Philly though.
3-4 inches. Yeah, I can handle it if it's like this. Not too bad. It'll be kind of nice to see.
The roads are fine.
The white debris on the side there for a little bit, and we're gonna see that stuff on the lawns and stuff for a while because our high temperatures are saying in the low 30s for the next several days.
What you're going to have to be aware of is icy patches, obviously.
Yes.
That's going to be the critical thing.
Yep, most definitely. So let's see. What do we need to do? We need to thank friends who are on the program today. We had M. Night Shymalan.
Yes, we did.
On the show today. Night has a special screening, 20th anniversary of the movie The Village. And it's at an undisclosed location. It's going to be on the 31st. It's a Wednesday night, and there's a Q&A, and there's cocktails and food and stuff like that. And I believe, Kathy, it's mnsfoundation.org.
Yep, that's it.
If you want to get tickets for that, and go because you get direct access.
Having been to one, they're a ton of fun. And especially if you haven't seen the movie, to see what the director is fantastic.
It's a good movie. And thank you to Craig Ferguson.
Hey!
Super nice guy.
Fergie Ferg.
Fergie Ferg is going to be at the Event Center at Live Casino and Hotel on Friday. Showtime is 8 o'clock. Tickets start at $40, available to purchase at philadelphia.livecasinohotel.com or axs.com. And Pierre's here, so we can chat with him a little bit about what's coming up on today's program and so on.
Good day. Craig did not grow up in Philly?
No.
I'm thinking of that other Craig Shoemaker?
Yes, different.
Right, who's another comedian. Okay.
Craig Ferguson is Scottish.
Oh, he had his the late night show for a while.
The late
right?
night show, yes.
Okay,
And I thought he was great.
I thought he was great on that too. He would always walk right up to the camera.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Steve asked him why he decided to use that as a technique, and his answer was more simple or less creative than you might think. He said the lighting in the studio sucked, and he would get that close so that people could see him better.
Wow.
Yeah. But I always thought it was like an intimate way to lean in and get with the audience. But he said it's because of the lighting.
It's fascinating because Carson had that look. He would know when the camera would come on him, and he'd give that
right,
like,
yeah.
Are you kidding me? Look, or that whatever he would had 2 or 3 looks that he had mastered. And that was sort of a similar thing. And then didn't he have some monster or some creature or something?
Oh, a skeleton. Yeah, Jeff. Jeffrey. Yeah. So and it was controlled robotically, and the voice was provided by somebody else. And some of the funniest exchanges were actually he and that guy. So Ferguson didn't have a co-host. He didn't have a band. And so he just had that.
That's right.
That the skeleton, and then there was 2 guys in a horse suit that would come out occasionally.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
I think that's all you need.
2 guys in a horse suit, and I'm good.
In fact, I wanted that added into my contract. 2 guys in a horse suit that could come in once a week and dance for me.
Well,
no, they said
did
no.
you sign your extension already?
I did.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
By the way, thanks to Dan DeLuca, who did a very nice write-up on me, which was in Saturday's paper. The real paper, and the other, the physical paper, and the other is at philly.com or inquirer.com.
Okay, cool.
We love it. We're thrilled.
Shall we do the letter of the
Yes.
day? All right, here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
The Preston and Steve show is brought to you today by the letter
L as in Lincoln.
All right, we're going to give away a 4-pack of lower-level tickets to see Green Day, the Saviors Tour, and that's with Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas. Friday, August 9th, Citizens Bank Park, and Green Day is our featured artist of the weekend, so listen for your chance to call and fill in the block of Green Day, and it'll be your chance to win the new album, Saviors, on CD, and also qualify for a pair of pit tickets for the concert. Information and another chance to qualify is available at WMMR.com. What's happening on this snowy day, sir?
Well, for Dave Grohl's birthday, which was yesterday, we're going to do the entire workforce blocks of Foo Fighters.
Wow.
So it's just one Foo Fighter gigantic block today. And I
Did
think
I
that'd
not
be fun.
mention Dave Grohl's birthday
It's
yesterday?
not today. It was yesterday.
was
I know,
actually-
but
it was
not
Sunday.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, man, how would I have missed
See,
that
I'm thinking
yesterday?
today's Monday.
Right.
yeah.
It's got to feel like a Monday
Right,
to you because
right.
Sarah was in yesterday.
Right.
Okay. All right.
All right. We now have it correct. You
Gotcha.
didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I was like, that would have been
Change of plans.
That would have been a biggie that I missed. So thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Besides
no.
Dave Grohl?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got nothing.
All right, you got nothing. I wanted to
Get off my
love.
back.
Oh, you know what? Today's Tuesday. Let's give away a free tattoo to Chris Norfleet of Hatfield, Pennsylvania. And hang on the line, Chris. Wait, you're not even on the line. We drew this in. You texted in.
He might be.
Just stay on the line, Chris. And
I'm on with
set-
tech support.
We'll set you up with a $350 gift certificate for Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. Tattoo Tuesday on the President Steve Show is presented by Floating World Tattoo and Piercing, 1729 South Street in Philadelphia. For artwork samples, you can visit floatingworldtattoos.com or check them out on Instagram at Floating World Tattoos.
There's nobody on the line, Ma.
He's there all day long. Let's see. Thank you to our sponsors. The President Steve Show brought to you today by Duncan, and the President Steve Show runs on Duncan. And also brought to you by Meineke Car Care. You won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot. Tomorrow is a Wednesday. Secret text word, Fox Good Day. And comedian Veer Das will be joining us.
very cool.
Yeah, so we have that amongst other things to get to. That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have yourself a great day. Stay safe, stay warm, and we'll see you tomorrow, friend. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.